Test. Okay, so I have that. There's just no game sound, it looks like. Yeah, that's not okay. All right, there we go. Okay, so it appears to be working now. I don't know what was up with earlier, but that is fine. That's dandy. Everything's fixed. OBS has not ruined me too hard. So we do have the Reaper now coming across the map. As the SCV says, you know what? Nope. You do not get to take a third. Not today. Not at this moment. In fact, I'm going to make your life miserable. However, the Reaper's going to go sit there and try to do what he can against the Zerglings here, which is going to clear the way for Vanya to take his third base. Really, not all that contested. Only taking the third at about 28 odd supply, which is where you want to take it anyways. So, sure, the SCV was annoying, but with Vanya getting the A move on it rather quickly, did not end up being that big of a deal. Which is fun. Alright, so now we do have the Reaper. It's going to go home. It's going to go, well, actually, more importantly here, it's going to be able to take this Watchtower, which means any sort of Zergling run by, any sort of counter like that is not going to be all that useful on the left-hand side of the map. It just gives Vindicta a little bit of map control as he gets ready to move out with his Reapers, with his Hellions on the map, reestablish that map control. Make it so the Zerg has to live with a little bit of fear in his heart as he moves on into things. So we do have Stim coming up here from Vindicta. We will see Bioplay here in this game number 1. And not that, of course, that Vanya has seen this. The Overlord will go in and will be shooed away by this one Marine. And often, when you see the heavy commitment to scouting defense, like we see Vindicta doing here, this does mean that the Terran is going for something rather sneaky. But that does not really appear to be the case this game. It's okay, so we do have the Baneling Nest coming down. It's going to try to wall it off. But of course, with the Queens here, with the Lings now being built out, and Vindicta really only with the 2 Hellions and one Reaper, that's not really enough to do anything more than just clear some creep. And clear some creep it shall, but unfortunately that does not mean you'll be able to take advantage of the opportunity to go and maybe dive into a mineral line. And actually now the Zergling's doing a good job. They're going to get on top of these Hellions. They're going to be able to get both of them, I think. Okay, so they're going to get one of them, and that's where they will give up. I think they probably could have gotten the second, but they're reaching the point where the Hellion reinforcements were coming in, and that would get a little bit scary. But of course, any sort of Hellion that you can get or any sort of kill you can get the Hellions early means you can drone up fantastically more. So behind this, coming from the Terran perspective, we do have 2 more barracks going down post 3rd CC, so we are moving into 3CC play here, into some nice stock standard macro play. And interestingly enough, when we look at how Vanya has decided to build himself up in this game, we do only see 1 Evo at the moment. So generally, with the timings of things, it does look like he's going for a more Zergling focused build. And generally, when you do that, you get double Evo, right? You get 1-1 pretty fast, and you go from there. But with there's only 1 Evo down, I'm interested to see what Vanya is going for. Maybe it's that he reads Vindicta's build as something that may be a bit more aggressive, which is not true. Vindicta, or well, you know what? Yeah, Vindicta is not the earliest possible 3rd command center, but still pretty daggone early. And there we have +1 attack coming down. So generally when you see, okay, that's nice. It's gonna just barely morph in time, refresh the health bar, and that Overseer is gonna be able to keep scouting. But anyway, so generally when you see 1 Evo, upgrade, what happens? Okay, this Queen's gonna start taking some damage. Vanya, you gotta move your Queen. Vanya does move his Queen. Anyway, when you go 1 Evo, right, generally you see +1 Carapace to start, and then it moves on into attack, because Banelings do a bunch of damage on their own, right? So at a certain point, you don't necessarily have to deal with that. You just want them to be able to make contact, and they will be fine. But that is not the case here, as we do have +1 attack on the way. The second Evo is done. We should see +1 Carapace in a second. The question is, how hard does Vanya want to commit to Mutas versus how quickly does he want to get that +1 Carapace on the way out here? So yeah, we're just moving on into the mid game. No player's really been able to do a whole lot to the other player at this point, as we just kind of sit here and see and ramp up onto the next stage of the game. So it appears that Vanya, or Vindicta's approach here, says, you know what, I like tanks. I think that they're good. I think they're most excellent in this matchup. And he has not really seen whether this will be Hydralink Bane or whether this will be Mutas. And of course, conventional wisdom says, okay, you know what? If you're going tanks, you don't necessarily want tanks against Hydralink or against Mutaling Bane. You want tanks against Hydralink Bane. You want tanks against Hydras. And with the Mutas on the way out here, that is definitely something that will not dismay Vindicta. I mean, that's not to say tanks are unplayable in the slightest. You can definitely do something with that. So we do have this Liberator going on into the main, going to siege up. These Mutas should be able to clean it out, but I don't think Vanya has noticed it as of yet. Okay, now the Queen's going to go in. The Queen will die, and Vanya says, you know what? What's more important than defending my drone line for the time being? Getting some damage done on the other side of the map. And now Vanya running in with these Mutas. And it's really interesting seeing him play this style, because this is, when I think of Vanya, I do not think of, hey, Mutas, right? Mutaling Bane, map control, going up to about 95, 100 drones. That is not the style I think when I think of Vindicta. I think much more of Roaches. I think of maybe Hydras. I think of Roach Ravager. I think of all these things. And that's not to say Vanya cannot play this game play this style in the slightest. And we have seen some incredible games coming from the Russian Zerg in this style, on this map in particular, in recent months. Although I cannot help be slightly worried that he is so far behind on Carapace. So he is just going to be behind on upgrades rather significantly this entire game. And he definitely had room for it. The second Evo did come down in time. But then we do have the marauding force of Zerglings, of Banelings, running in, trying to see what they can get done. Maybe snipe some things off. And they will be able to snipe off a couple Hellbats, so that's nice. The Reaper will be ignored by both sides here. As it once again will take the Watchtower. Reaper, Vanya apparently deems this Reaper not worth his time. But now, nope, yep, not worth the time. So now the Mutas are going to swing in from the left here. Trying to see, and they will find that there is no fourth base. Not quite yet. The fourth command center was building. He did see that, but he's not going to find anything to harass, anything to seek, anything to destroy at this point. Okay, now the Reaper's finally going to die. The Reaper will finally die, will meet its justice. And the Mutas are going to swing in once again, but now that period of time where Vindicta was potentially primed to get taken by surprise. Actually, he's going to catch these Mutas. Going to lose, and a couple of them are going to be able to shot down. And that's rather nice here. As, of course, any Muta you lose is rather expensive at 100, 114 Mutas going down over the course of this game. I don't think all of them were right there, but I don't really remember any sort of other engagement that saw Mutas getting fired down. So, anyway, that's a good move for Vindicta as he moves on in the mid game. Of course, when you hit that about 20 Muta mark, the normal amount of missile turrets suddenly starts to mean a lot less, and I mean a lot less. So now we do have 2/2 done here. Plus 2 attack is, I don't know, 75% of the way done here for Vanya. Plus 2 Carapace not even started. And sure, there's a lair on the way, but there is a rather solid 2/2 timing here. 3/3 on the way as well for Vindicta. But anyway, rather solid 2/2 timing here that Vanya is going to be able to, or that Vindicta is going to be able to hit here, as he looks to take advantage of, well, the advantage that he has found for himself in this game. As we do see the siege up here once again. Vindicta up about 10 army supplies, so in a fairly good situation there. As Vanya really needs to find a way to spend the bank that he has come into possession of. So now we do have the Terran army stemming on onto the creep, and interestingly enough, no scans are being used. The creep is being allowed to exist as it is, and actually the massive Zergling run by in the bottom left going to be able to wipe out this entire base. Actually probably going to be able to target this base down. Okay, actually the base is going to lift. And now the Baneling is going to come running into these Marines, and the Baneling shot will not hit, but of course the rest of these Banelings run into Thor, and let me tell you, Thors versus Banelings are not it's not a thing. The Thors just don't take any damage. But now it looks like that fifth base, or I guess sixth base of our blue Zerg was in fact going to get canceled. Now we do have the Zerg running in here. The Mutas not magic boxing on top of the Thor, just trying to chase the Marines down. And this is a lot of Mutas going down. Almost the entirety of the Muta flock here of Vanya going down here. But it fears that he has maybe found the momentum he needs in taking this fight. He's going to be able to keep running on forward. Thor's getting surrounded. Thor's going down. And it is just pure lane Muta against the forces of the Terran here. There we have a GG. Vanya overrunning Vindicta in this game, number 1. The overrun. It happened. All right, so it looks like Vanya went to the wrong server. So he was under the impression that we are going. Where's what I need? There we go. That we are swapping servers, but that is not the case. All right, it looks like I have some static noise problems, so I'm going to try to fix that before next game, which means I'm going to go to a quick break so I don't have massive feedback here on the stream. Players are getting ready to go. We will go ASAP. I'll be right back. All right, I don't actually hear that static that I was being told about, so I don't know what's up with that. But you know what? Apparently it's a thing. So anyway, we're just gonna go with the time being, and if it keeps happening, I'm sure Vitamin will ping me. But our players are loaded up into map number 2, and that's a fun time. So we should go there, shouldn't we? Actually, we should go there real fast. And spawning in the upper middle, as he goes for some amount of proxy racks here, it is Vindicta. Okay, hotkeys, please. That's so weird. Come on. And in the bottom right, in the blue, B100, it's Vanya. We are going to see a rather significant amount of proxy barracks coming in here from our Terran player on this Golden Ball map. He says, you know what? I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with the long game. I don't want to deal with the scary game. I don't know if I want to play this game at all. So we do have a proxy 3 racks coming here from Vindicta. And Vanya says, you know what? I am wise to your tricks. Let me find them. Already one barracks will be canceled. Says, you know what? 3 racks. 3 racks can't really work unscouted, but a 2 racks can. So I'm gonna cancel one. I'm gonna send an SCV on it, so this singular drone cannot prevent things from happening. But Vanya has a couple more drones on the way, spawning pool on the way, and I was gonna try to take care of these SCVs as they move in. But of course, one drone will go down already, and that is rather unfortunate here for Vanya as he tries to get something done. Nice, really nice SCV micro here coming from our Red Terran player. And there we do with the drone for the SCV. And now with the Marines on the way, the question really is how will Vanya be able to prevent this from happening? So the SCVs are actually just going to go and repair themselves up to full. Blizzard, please, can we see some balance here? No, really. So now we are going to see the bunkers here coming down. The SCVs are going to be able to drop that down once again as they have repaired themselves. They have healed themselves. But now with 8 lings on the way, 10 lings on the way at this point, we should see enough lings popping out here from how delayed this has been, that they should be able, once they get up to that 8-10 mark, 8 to 10 lings do kill the Marines. Actually, with the drone pull here, you don't even need that number of lings. Actually, the lings, they're just going to get on top of these SCVs, and now the bunker is not going to happen. So lings are going to start going off creep here, kill what they can, but of course lings are faster than Marines off creep even without speed. And now the Marines are just going to start getting slowly whittled down. They are going to start dying, and Vanya has held this rather easily. And in the words of TLO, this strat is simply broken. I never see it lose. I never see it lose in tournament settings. Well, this is a tournament setting, and we have just seen it not work. Now, of course, there is the potential here for something to happen later on, but Vindicta, well, Vindicta is not ahead. I guess that's one way to put it. All right, so now we do see a third base coming in here from Vanya. He says, you know what? I've held this game. I've held this this cheeky little all-in that you've gone for. And I want none of it. I want none of it at all. So now we do have, this is going, looks like it's going to move into a 2-1-1 as Vindicta has not sacrificed one of his barracks in the name of scouting, in the name of understanding what the Zerg is going for here. As he has actually, he's going to send both of these barracks back home. So typically when a 2-1-1 ends, you see one barracks moving on into the main base just to see what the Zerg is up to, and you see one going home. Now I don't know whether this is okay, so the 2-1-1 hasn't worked, so I can't really afford to sacrifice barracks like that, or whether it is more of well, I want 2 barracks for my follow-up, so I need 2 barracks for my follow-up. And Vindicta, he's going for, what was this, 2 Hellions. But behind this, we do see okay, so, never mind. So he went for 2 Hellions to make sure he was safe. And now he's going for a reactor behind this as well. We do see another barrack, so we're going to see some sort of heavy aggression here. Going to be 3-1, some semblance of a 3-1-1 on the way. 2 base all in behind this. And Vanya should be aware of this. He has seen the barracks be building, and he's seen the other 2 going home. So there we have it. We're going to see 5 Marines at a time for the time being. And yeah, this is going to be some heavy all-in pressure here. Probably the question, of course, is whether this pushes in from the bottom. Of course, Vanya has not mined these minerals out, so getting anything on top of that will be rather difficult, rather interesting. Or whether it's just going to go try to siege up here, take command between the natural and the third base, and try to push in. Now, again, Vanya knows about this. He knows things are happening. He says, you know what? No. I'm just going to preclude your aggression with some aggression of my own here as we have more and more roaches on the way. Off of 3 gas, off of no layer, off about 34 total workers. And he should have just enough to build the requisite number of Ravagers to get in. But of course, as the saying goes, well, if you don't have a natural, you don't have a game. And I don't believe that's a saying. I just made it up. But again, caster's prerogative here. As we do have a decent amount of roaches moving their way across the map. And the Viking will not scout it. Not scout it for quite a while. It's taking the wrong path. And now with the roaches moving across the map, Ling's on the upper left side already. And this will just, of course, be reinforced with Ling after Zergling after Zergling after Zergling once the wall goes down. But good news for Vanya here, there's no wall in the first place. So now with 3 Ravagers on the way up, we will start to see the roaches, start to see the Zerglings. They will start poking. And there is only 1 tank on this map here. And 1 tank does not a hold make in this type of situation. Now, the roaches, they're going to go in. They're going to try to force their way up on top of the high ground. Actually, you know, 1 tank is able to get... able to get connections like that. That is, this may a hold make after all. But now the Zerglings, they're going to come running in. They're going to start supply blocking things. And as soon as they get vision on the high ground, there we go. The tank is just going to go down. And now it's where it's snowballing. Now it's where Vindicta is dying, is dead. And Vanya going up 2-0 in this series already. So, it's going fast. Which is fine because we have another best of 5 and another best of 7 on top of things. So I am sorry, Vitamin, that things have gone wrong with your, I don't know what's happening here. But it appears that there's nothing much I can do on my end, so I'm going to assume that you just need to restart your browser or something. Is what's happening with that. Maybe it sounds like CPU noise or something, maybe. But anyway, we are loading into Ice and Chrome here. And of course the question... Alright. And here we go. We're loaded in. Vanya with the 2-0 lead. And here we are in the upper right, in the red, representing Team Alpha X. It's Vindicta. that is finally working. We had some issues with it earlier, but it is not broken any longer. It is just in time for the penultimate, potentially the ultimate match of this series in the bottom left. In the blue, up 2 games in this best of 5 on match point. It's Vanya. Vanya going for a 16 pool. Okay. I don't know what's up with that. Global hotkeys being weird. I just moved to an SSD. And I transferred my install to an SSD, and some things have been weird, apparently, including player intro music and things like that. And I didn't think about it, but to check it, because I haven't changed any installs. It should just all be fine, but apparently that is not the case, so I apologize for that. Probably will be able to get it fixed before the next series, though. So there is that here. As Vanya just going for an extra safe opening here in this final map. He says, you know what, I don't trust you. You tried to 3-rax me before. You may try to do it again. This is a pretty good map for it, just because there are so many different potential locations that Vindicta will be able, that you could potentially proxy from, and it's just hard for me to cover it all. So I'm just going to go. I'm going to open up pool first. I'm going to get a gas. I'm going to get a decently timed speed, but only with but actually this speed is going to be timed out to be rather just the standard. And behind it, he's just making sure that he does not die to anything, but more importantly, he's going to look to be able to cancel the command center here. As the Reaper, though, the Reaper is going to stay home. He knows the time. The SCV knows the timing of this naturally. He says, hey, wait a minute here. This is a little bit too slow. And actually, nice trap there from the SCV. Did he actually scout? Okay, so he saw the pool, he saw the gas. And yeah, the Zerglings now, they're just going to go home. They say, look, there is nothing we can get done here in this game whatsoever. But we have forced the Reaper to stay home. We have taken no damage from it, and we're just able to drone heavily behind it. And Vanya, of course, says, you know what? Even more importantly, I've taken no damage. I'm under no pressure. I'm just going to take a third base unimpeded. Now, of course, this is not the ideal third base. Well, you take it at 38 supply, but this is not the opportunity he has to maybe go into the Korean-style third base where you get a 19 supply. As again, I'm not even sure it's worth it from a larva, from a economy perspective, to try to do that off of the pool first. But Vanya now, he's going to be able to take that third unimpeded, and he has done so. And now the question is, where are our players going from here? We have a relatively early stim coming in here from Vanya, or from Vindicta. Oh, it's not all that early, but we do see a 2-1-1 off of this. And Vanya should be aware of this in the next 45 seconds anyways, just due to the dearth of Hellions that exist on the map, because of course that's one of the largest tells of a 2-1-1. It is the fact that there are no Hellions trying to push your creep back in the interest of moving across the map at around 4 minutes and 30 seconds with 2 medevacs and stim and 16 marines, and that's just that is the thing. It's a less popular style, of course, now, but it is perhaps all the deadlier for the fact that it is, again, not all that popular. And the question, of course, is how many queens will Vanya have to defend things? We do have a couple Zerglings trying to find their way across the map. I guess these are just scouting to make sure nothing happens. But one of the key things in holding this aggression is the number of queens you have. You want to go up to about 7. And Vanya will have 6 by the time this aggression kicks off, as it's just about hitting that 4 minutes and 30 mark, although it looks like Vindicta maybe not moving off at 4:30, probably closer to 4:45 with medevac build time, as it is. That's fine. It's still close enough. The goal is really to hit as close to 5 minutes as possible. And Vanya, it looks like he's aware of this. We do have a Baneling Nest on the way. We do have more and more queens, going up to a grand total of 6. Zerglings working on getting rid of this rock. So, of course, any sort of push cannot use that to their advantage. And this is a good thing for the Zerg to do anyways. Whenever they have idle time, kill the rocks. Kill the rocks. Make life a little bit happier. And the Reaper's going to get in, is going to be able to scout, going to see what the lair timing is. But more importantly, we do have the medevac drop on the way. This is only going to be 14 Marines, not 16. So Vindicta not hitting that timing maybe quite as crisply as he would like. But now we do have him moving across the map start moving off at exactly 4:45. And I'm just going to take some credit for that. I got it right. But the Zerglings are on the way. Vanya is well aware of this. He knows his timings. He knows what he knows what to be scared of. He knows what to deal with. And with the 46 lings that will be on the map here, that should just be able to swallow it up along with the queens. And okay, so now the Marines, they're going to come stimming. They're going to try to see what they can get done. But now we do have lings swarming on top of things. And the queens, of course, they're just going to target this down. They say, no way, Jose. you're not going to be able to stay around here. And of course, without the Medivacs, this push is not worth the creep that it sits on. So now, once again, we do have the Terran stemming in. At this point, this is more of a creep removal activity than an actual hope to get anything done. But of course, with the Queen sitting there, it does mean that it's harder for the Medivacs to be able to pick things up. So a couple of Marines will die for their efforts. And once again, we do have a scout here. And again, if we want to compare third base timings from the first game and the third game, if we look at our purely macro games here, the third base is done a whole lot later than it was in game number 1. In fact, the third base, well, the command center just now finishes. We're going to see an orbital, and the third base really should not be in position anytime before 7 minutes, which is, of course, rather late as the Terran tries to get something done, especially considering Vindicta was really not able to get a ton of work done here as he tried to find some advantage in the mid-game. And sure, he's cleaning up creep on the left-hand side. That is rather nice, but not exactly. You want to kill drones, you want to kill queens, you want to kill zerglings, you want to do all these things that maybe that have some tangible benefit other than, well, creep that's going to be replaced just about immediately. But now we do have another double drop coming in with a tank here. So this is actually this push that really made this map so killer, so hard to deal with when it first entered the map pool, and it's something we have not seen for quite a bit here. Now the queens, they're going to try to go in. They're not really going to be able to do a whole lot, but now we do have the zerglings, the banelings swooping in from the left as the queens shoot in from the high ground, and well, this is just going to get cleaned up rather simply, rather easily, and without too significant loss of banelings as well. So what did that kill? A single drone? Not even. Vanya just in control of this game as he looks to move on into the mid-game. Aspire's now going down. His 1-1 much better timed off with it compared to his Terran opponent, compared to the last game. And we do have a drop now coming in. It's 3 Medivacs, but it's really a double drop. And this is, of course, just making it rather difficult for Vanya to try to move across the map to get something done. But with his main army. But of course, if he sections something off, he should be fine. He should be dandy. And we see, and really what we see here, and what is to be applauded from Vanya, is he's doing a great job of maintaining his creep spread as it gets cleared up. We do have the Terran dropping in on this spot all the time, dropping scans on this, but the creep is rebuilt every single time. Now we do have a Liberator in the main base. Does not look like it's in position to get a whole lot done, although it did deny some mining time. And now we do have the Zerglings, the Banelings once again trying to clean things up, but this Medivac drop really not getting a whole lot done. And once again, we do have the Liberator in the main. It's going to be able to get a couple workers, and there is a single drop here on the bottom left-hand side. Going to be able to snipe a queen at the, oh, it will not get the queen. And actually it's going to get shot down. No, it will not get shot down. Just barely going to survive on 5 HP. Meanwhile, we do have another push coming in from the left. And this one, the army, Vanya does find himself out of position for. Meanwhile, there's a Liberator in the main base. As Vindicta says, you know what? If I can't beat you in a front-on engagement, I'm going to do what I can to just tear you apart as he hits in 3 places at once. Truly tasking the multitasking of our Zerg hero here. Now, of course, this will get cleaned up and only 9 workers going down. And when we look at... Okay, Vanya actually has lost rather significantly more than his Terran opponent, which is surprising considering it really does not feel like Vindicta has been able to get a whole lot done. But really the true story of this game is this is Mutiling Bane, and Vanya is only on 70 workers. He's not gone to that 85 to that 90 mark where you really want to get to, that makes you feel really comfortable as a Zerg player. And he has not, his supply has not been ballooning as it was the previous game. His bank has not been ballooning as it was in game number 1. But the Zergling situated on the 4th base will notice that the 4th base is going down on location here. This is probably going to trigger Vanya to attack. His 1-1 is halfway done. Or his 2-2, I should say. His 2-2 is just about halfway done. He's a decent amount of gas in the bank. I'm not seeing just that Baneling button held down. But Vanya just content to play defensively, waiting for the Terran to overextend. And we've seen this is an evolved Vindicta. We've seen this series. In game number 1, we saw him just overextend, died the Mutiling Bane, and the way Terran production works, he was just not able to defend the counterattack. But of course, this game he's being a little bit more conservative, and that of course may have something to do with the map too. This is the largest map in the pool, and I will be so sorry to see it leave. But anyway, we do have a nice bio mine force with a couple Thors coming out here, and now this is the true force of Vindicta coming to bear here. Sitting around 100 army supply, 2-2 just about done. It's gonna be nice 2-2 timing when he finally gets on creep. Now, of course, we do have some Widow Mines that are burrowing ahead, but before drilling claws, the Mutas will just be able to trigger them off before anything else. And of course, what do you do? What does the Zerg want to do when the Terran is pushing on, knocking on his doorstep? Well, he does not want to attack into that Terran. Well, no, what he's going to do, and what Vanya is doing here, he says, you know what, I'm just going to counterattack, and I'm going to send my Mutas on your tank. And with all of this, well, the Lings will not be defensible all that easily. But with this bunker as part of the wall, that is doing an excellent job of messing with the aggro. And actually it's doing a really good job here. Great SimCity here from Vindictus he tries to hold, but this will force the entirety of the Terran army back. But in exchange for almost all the mutas here, only 3 mutas on the map at this point, and only three workers have gone down at this juncture. So Vanya doing a great job pulling the Terran back, says, you know what, I don't want any part of this timing. But on the flip side, well, he's lost almost all of his mutas. He was really not able to get a whole ton of damage done. And he maintains his supply, which is the big thing. So he maintains his 5th base. Vindicta has not really been able to establish, to really punish the economy of Vanya at all outside of that. The 9 workers going down in that one drop. Now we have the Zerglings. They're going to run in, and this is going to be okay. Not that bad, not that great of a Widowmine hit, but not bad. 9 total Zerglings killed, and of course the drop on the left-hand side. But the mutas were rebuilt, and in doing so, the drop will get shut down as Vanya looks to take his 6th base. But of course, the big story here on the big push, on the frontal push, is 2 things. A, the Terran has not taken 3/3, or has not taken +3 armor, only +3 attack on the way here. Story number 2, the creep is slowly getting pushed back. Vanya does not have that nice bastion of creep that he did earlier. And actually, a nice drop here coming in from the main base, but the Queens with transfuses will be able to clean it all up, not losing a single one of their number. But of course, a nice Widowmine drop on the 4th base. Vindicta just on top of everything. And with the armor here, it's going to take a bit before... Okay, there we go. We do have the observers now, but this has just provided opportunity, has provided room for Vindicta to take a more aggressive position here onto the 4th base of Vanya. You have the Zerglings running in once again. Just going to be able to target down these Widowmines at their leisure. Only one going to be able to get up. And now once again, we do have the Zerglings, the Banelings running in. No mutas here with the fight this time, though. Now the mutas are coming in from the side, and now the Terran is going to get chased down, which of course means when you're running, you're not fighting. And of course, the Widowmines, they do something, they do it nice. Actually, one of it's not going to go down, but the army, the Banelings, are now crashing in, and with the mutas here on top, it is fight or flight. And Vindicta, actually, he's going to choose flight, or he's going to choose fight. He says, you know what, I think I have enough with my reinforcements. I have the upgrades I need, I have the army I need, I'm going to be able to survive this just fine. And Vanya says, you know what, you're right. My mutas are not in position. I don't have +2 mutas. I don't have +3 mutas. I'm just going to back up, but I've done significant damage to your army store, to your army situation here. Now the mutas are once again, they're going to run in as Vindicta looks to take his 5th base. Now there is a fairly significant amount of army here, so the mutas will not be able to contest as much as they would like to. Alright, now there is a drop on the bottom right-hand side. Not really going to get a whole lot done. But of course, we'll draw the army back. And this is the annoying thing about this map. With the amount of dead airspace there is, it is rather easy for Vindicta to ping-pong between the main and the natural as he looks to get something done. But now with the mutas being forced to go home, they will take this drop out. But it is a victory in and of itself that the mutas are forced to go home, which means Vindicta is able to establish his 5th base as the 5th base. Missile turrets have gone up. Planetary Fortress is mostly done. And now we are ready. So there's a nice... primarily Baneling counterattack force. Yeah, primarily Baneling more than anything else. It looks like this is situated in such a way that Vindicta wants to be able to take down the Planetary at his earliest opportunity. There we do have things running in. The Widowmines will be triggered by the Advanced Lings. Now we just have a ton of Banelings running in here into the Planetary Fortress. It will go down. It will die. But it doesn't look like too many mutas were here too, so he's just going to target down the building Planetary as well. And as expensive as that is, that was a lot of Banelings, don't get me wrong. That's probably pretty worth here for Vindicta, or for Vanya, as he tries to get some economy going, as we see the economy spike in his position once again. And now there's another drop coming in on the bottom left side, but the mutas, they missed it. Well, they saw... Okay, never mind. They found one of them, they will not find the other. And now this drop looks to get something done. His +3 attack is now done. And +3 attack means that we'll just shred everything about this army here. The Queen going to go down. Banelings that are morphing will go down. But meanwhile, the main army is fighting on the upper left-hand side, so it's difficult for Vanya to find a cleanup crew at the moment. Now, of course, there are Lings in the main base. Mutas are now running home. So these mutas should be able to deal with things as soon as Vanya pays attention to it. And this is why I love this map. I'm so sad. I cannot get over how sad I am that this map is leaving the map pool. Because really, I mean, you just get these long, intense, epic games It's hard for either player to kill the other, which means you just see these feats of endurance, these tests of strength, these feats of valor coming from both players. And that is a lot of Banelings running into Marauders, and that is not something. That is a massive, insanely large Widowmine connection here. And with that, Vanya is going to be forced to retreat back to his side of the map, retreat back to his zone of influence here on the map. But once again, now with the Mutas here, the Mutas will force the lift up. And now the Banelings, the Zerglings running in once again. They're just not enough Widowmines here for the moment. We do have magic boxing on these Mutas to try to get something done. And it is just pure Ling Ultra. Where'd the Mutas go? Pure Ling Ultra, some amount of Mutas, but the Mutas find themselves going down, not targeted properly. But of course, the question is whether this trade is worthwhile. It looks like it will not be, as the 5th base will. Wow, yeah, I guess technically, yeah. Okay, it's reminding once again. The 5th base will stand, and Vanya has sacrificed a lot for this. Much has died in the pursuit of shutting down the Terran economy here. And Vanya's bank, that was once so large, so useful, is entirely spent. A couple more Ultras on the way, more Banelings, more Zerglings, and the thing we don't see replaced, of course, is Mutas. In fact, we do see Corruptors coming behind this. 7 Corruptors on the field. And that is how Vanya is going to choose to move on it here in the late game. Corruptors, of course, have more armor, and they are arguably better at killing things like planetary fortresses. Because, again, they can withstand that, okay, the Widowmines are going to burrow, and oh, what a Widowmine shot. What an incredible shot here, and that is just almost all the Banelings here. If we look at the supply of Vanya, it went from just about even to maybe even ahead to tremendously down. Now we do have a drop coming on the bottom right-hand side, and it looks like Vindicta is slowly taking the advantage here in this game, as the army that our Blue Zerg has chosen to work with is a whole lot less dynamic, a whole lot less mobile on this map, as it is primarily Ultralisk, it is primarily Zergling, and that's not a map that really that deals really well with having it really deals well with having to split itself up. It's very much more of a deathball composition, and Vindicta is punishing that, killing both the outlying bases on the left and right side as he establishes his own. And now if you look at the economy here, it is going to spike tremendously hard in favor of our red Terran player that we see an update right now. But of course, now it looks like the army of our Terran players may be out of position here, as the Corruptors pee on the command center. The repairs are not good. Cracklings do a tremendous job, and the base will go down once again. But now we do have the army of Vindicta caught in an impossible fight, a fight that it cannot win, not against these Liberators, not against these Thors, not against this heavily upgraded bio. But there's now a run by on the right-hand side that does not really look to get a whole lot done. It's forced to lift. Excuse me. It's forced to lift, but that appears that that is all that it will get done here, as the main army here is situated on the left. And it looks like this army is situated in such a way that it is going to look to attempt a flank here. Ultralisk flanks, the new tech for the 21st century. Actually, nope, that's not what we're going to see. As now we do see the Terran sieging up once again. And the Widowmines, or Marauders in the front. Widowmines will just get targeted down, manually detonated here. And the question is whether these the Banelings will be able to get through and get onto the soft underbelly of the Terran army. Or, well... Oh. Okay. What is happening outside? I don't know. Large boom's happening outside. Anyway, the fight will be one that is not all that fruitful for Vanya, but once again, he has found himself the economic advantage, as he was able to knock out the outlying bases of his Terran opponent. But we have hit the truly late game here. We have Ghosts on the way. We have Cloak on, we have Ghosts here. We have Cloak on the way. And now comes the point where the Terran army, well, it gets yet scarier. But Vanya, he has another level of tech to get to, as well as we do see Infestors on the way. We do see pathogen glands on the way, and the snipes from these Ghosts will be good. They will just kill some Ultras just like that. Killing Ultras, which are rather expensive, 300, for the sake of energy on a Ghost. I believe that's a trade the Terran will take every day. Meanwhile, we do have a task force on the right-hand side trying to deny the economy of our Terran player as much as it can. Okay, I don't know why he's running all of these. Okay, there we go. Because I don't know why he's necessarily abandoning this base to a couple Marines. He probably could have minded from that a little bit more, but that's fine. And now we do have more and more Mutas on the way. Both players maxed out once again, but this time Vanya in a massive economic lead. I gotta imagine it's because he just dropped power mules somewhere on the map. Actually, not really. It's just a function of having mining bases. But now we do have a fairly significant counterattack of Zerglings, of Corruptors moving on to the other side of the map. And this, of course, will get significant damage done here. There's nothing there to defend as the Terran army tries to cycle around, but that's not really going to be enough. 3-3 Cracklings do a tremendous job. All and everything in here on this part of the map will find itself going down. Now, he did trade some Corruptors for this. That's rather unfortunate. What, 6 Corruptors total going down in this game. And now we have nukes on the way. And now these Ghosts, they will be able, their snipes will get canceled with the Fungals. But this is a terrible, terrible position for Vanya to try to get into. But maybe he knows things that we do not. As he's going to try to crush in here more and more and more. But the Ghost Snipes with the Thors blocking every choke. He's never going to, that is a fight that will never come in favor of our Terran player, or of our Zerg player. But now, of course, the main goal of this, more so than anything else, is to force the Terran to play on the left side, which means this Zergling counterattack can be all the more effective as more and more and more SCVs go down. The building, the command center has been forced to lift, and now we do see Zerglings running on into the main base. And this is where they can maybe get something done if they can deny production in some way. Actually, nice Widowmine Burrow, but also nice splits. And yeah, it looks like this counterattack is done for. We do have more and more coming in as well. 12 workers going down, but that's not the big story here. As we now have a nuke on the way in the bottom right-hand side. Vindicta, the man known for his nukes, but that will get... Looks like this one will get off. And you know what? We got to give some credit here. Vanya knows exactly what it is. If you watch that, it's going to be rather small, but... those are hard to see even at the best of times, much less in the terror and the insanity of battle. So got to give Vanya credit for actually finding where that dot was. So once again, we do see a nuke on the way. Actually, we do see double nukes here. Okay, one of them's going to go down. Okay, the other one, oh, that's going to get 16 workers. Vanya a little bit slow on the pull that time. And that's rather unfortunate. But we're starting to see the point of the map where the Terran once also has his death ball, which makes it harder for Vanya. Well, it makes it easier for Vanya to get counterattacks, but also harder for Vanya to fight right in. And now with just a massive clump of 3-3 bio here, it's gonna, well, that counterattack's not gonna get a whole lot. But this nuke coupled with the run by that Vanya attempted and was not successful at. Oh, what an EMP there! All the infestors losing 100% of their energy. And this is suddenly not a fight that Vanya wants to take. And Vanya, pretty significantly behind on supply for the first time, really in this game, or at least for quite a bit, finds himself in dire straits. Down 50 total army supply, even if he is up in economy, theoretically. Alright, so now we do see really a Zergling Master. I don't know why we're seeing less and less Banelings, as we do have moved back into Marine focus play, but now we do Zerglings running in. Ghosts actually do a tremendous job of just killing Zerglings. And this army of Vindicta is absolutely terrifying. We do have 10 Broodlords on their way. And that is maybe the opportunity. Nice. The Ghosts will be dropped on top of the Infestors to, in fact, EMP all of them. And that's pretty cool. So now we do have, in fact, Broodlords are out. And that's something that maybe is going to be a little bit scary. It's going to allow Vanya to stay alive for the time being. But he's down 20 army supply. And Broodlords are slow. It's going to be rather difficult here for Vanya to defend against all the myriad amounts of damage that our Red Terran is going to look to inflict upon him should he decide to do so. But now the Terran's going to stay on top of that. Once again, these Broodlords, well, Broodlords do not have ground support yet. And that's a nice fungal, sure. Actually, that's a really nice fungal. And Trader Mines doing yet more. And of course, behind this, so there is a drop now coming on onto the 4th base, and there's just not enough to defend here at the moment. There will be soon, but behind all this, Vanya has been able to take the, the 4 o'clock base. And that, more than anything else, is the important thing. So now we do have Vikings on the map. Not many of them, though. Not yet. And I wonder whether Vanya has found his opening, whether he has finally found the composition that will allow him to start smacking down some of these Terran bases. As I see that, it seems like Vanya's push is maybe just running out of steam just a little. And the question is, are there snipes here from our Ghosts? And there are. All of the Broodlords will go down. And the next time they fight, there will be, of course, enough Vikings. And Vanya says, you know what? There will not be another time. GG, Vindicta taking game number 3. Hell of a game from Vindicta. as he stays alive. All right. We have ourselves a series. It is not going to be a clean 3-0. And that is the most exciting thing. Excuse me. So no, I thought my shirt was fine. When I checked, my shirt was not getting picked up by my green screen, but now it is in part. So when I get a steel break, I'm gonna put on a shirt that does not have enough green in it that it becomes one with the background, or at least tries to become one with the background. Yeah. So after this, of course, we will have Max Packs versus Future. And the winner of this series will play the winner of that series in the finals. And after that, though, I am not yet done because it is a Wednesday night. So it looks like we're waiting for Viney to come back, which means I have an opportunity to cut to a break, and more importantly, I have an opportunity to have a shirt that does not disappear. So I will be right back. And when we're back, Game 4 of Vanya versus Vindicta. All right, we're back. The games have started. My shirt is fixed, and let's get into it. And here we are, spawning in the upper right, in the red, representing Team Alpha X, it's Vindicta. And in the bottom left, in the blue, going for a 3 hatch before pool? No, I was just scouting. It's Vanya. All right, then. So Vanya says, you know what? I just want to make sure you're not proxying. I want to make sure there's nothing to be afraid of here. And this drone scout will confirm that, but at the expense of some economy. Doesn't really make the biggest of deals in the long-term situation of this game, but given the choice, of course, Vanya would rather not have to do that. But that was the brilliance, or I should say the brilliance, that was the utility of that Proxy 3 Rex on Golden Wall. So even though Vanya did scout it, and he did defend it, that does mean, that does confirm in his mind that he will have to deal with that throughout the rest of this series. Do we have music? Okay. I miss game music. Please, StarCraft, play some music. I summon thee. Alright, so the SV is going to see the creep timing. That is all it needs to see. He's going to go check the third base and try to deny that once again. So it's going to be rather difficult for Vindicta to be able to get that nice 28 supply third base that you really are going for. Going to be forced back, especially with this Reaper here and there being no pocketed drone. But that does not mean that that is what Vanya is going for. Now, how many are we out? Okay, so we're 2 of 3. Yeah, so it looks like here Vanya is going for some sort of early lair play. It could be 2 base Muta. It could also be some sort of roach attack. Vanya loves his roaches, especially there. Oh, what was the map? There was a map that looked like this in the last season. That was not this map. I can never remember what it was called. I always confuse them. But anyway, so especially on that map that was so wide open, Vanya absolutely loves his roaches, and you can definitely get something done here with it. But now we're at 36 supply, so this is looking more and more like it will be, in fact, 2 base Muta. Because so the way you do with 2 base Muta, you get about a 44 supply third base, and then you go and at about 50 odd supply, you add on the other 3 gas, and that's just kind of how that works. So there we go. Vanya just building more and more drones, going up to, I guess, 54 total. Oh, okay, never mind. So there we go. We should see the third base trying to get taken. Now the SCV has been scouting this. But at this point, speed is done, so that really this will not be denied. And he's just going to lose an SCV for his troubles. Now the Reaper's going to go in, and yep, we have the lair on the way. And this is shaping up to be 2 base Muta. Dos base Muta, in fact. As the Hellions Reaper, they're going to try to shell away at this. And of course, they can be minorly successful here, as there's no armor on the hatchery at the moment. And this looks like it's shaping up to be... Ooh... Okay, I was going to say this looks like it's shaping up to be a third base. I think we're going to see third base throwing down any second. Nope. Vindicta says, hey, look, if you're going for 2 base Muta, if you're going for something as technologically greedy as that, well, I'm going to punish it. I'm going to get an armory, and I'm going to shove Hellbats into your face. I don't think you're going to be able to deal with it, but that is one of the wonders of 2 base Muta. You can deal with Hellbats with some degree of success with a 2 base Muta opener. Actually, okay, that's interesting. So, I guess that makes sense. So we noticed the creep spreading from underneath the hatchery, even before the hatchery is completed. Because when the hatchery is built, there's like a 2x2 hex of creep there underneath it, and creep likes to expand towards creep. So it's pretty cool. Don't really think of that necessarily, but more power to Vanya, making sure he gets the creep spread that he needs. And now we do have the Hellions moving across now. Now this will just be a purely Hellion attack. I don't believe we're going to see any sort of Hellbat or any sort of Liberator. And actually, there's no medevac. Okay, there's the medevac. Okay, so medevac with a couple Marines and 1 Marauder. Oh, sorry, that's the Reaper. Okay, so now this is just going to get a kill, Vanya. Now, the Zerglings are going to go in, and they need to buy time. That's the thing. They need to buy time for enough Baneleys to come out. Now, we have 6 on the way, but we do have the Hellbats. They're getting on top of things, and they're split pretty well. Only able to take down a couple of these Hellbats. So it looks like this will not kill Vanya, but it will probably get the third base. I'm not sure whether this kills the third base or not, actually, but what it is doing is just doing tremendous damage here. Queens are being forced out. More and more Lings are being forced out here, and this is just a game of chase. A game of tag where there's only 1 winner and 1 loser, and you don't want to get tagged by these flamey boys. Now, of course, the Hellbats are slowly getting taken down. They are slowly getting nice pick-up micro here from our red Terran player. And you know what? As I say, they're slowly going down. Well, they're only going so far down. Now we do have the Marines with stim now, and the Viking and the Hellbats. Well, they're just going to catch off Lings one by one, and Lings one by one without a sufficient surround really don't do a whole lot. So more and more and more of these drones are now going to go down as well. This push never ends. This push is only eventually going to be cleaned up because he has run out of energy on his medevac. He spent all of it on the damage that he is now doing to his Zerg opponent. I gotta say, despite that, though, only 6 workers going down. Could have been worse. Okay, now we do have another Hellbat drop, but that will get cleared up. This could have been worse. However, when we look at resources lost, it's just about double here for the Zerg player. He's lost a lot of Lings. He has had to spend a lot of larva on things that are not economy. And these two things paired up together mean that, well, it's going to be rather difficult. For him to establish some sort of footing in the mid-game. These mutas that are supposed to be moving out across the map at around 6 minutes and 30 seconds, while they are moving now a full minute late. There is stim done. 1-1 is just about done. And sure, there's Baneling speed. But 1-1 bio. Drilling Claws on the way. Thor's on the way. This is, I mean, this army by itself could almost take out. Baneling's now going to burrow. Will, of course, get taken out before it burrows all the way. And this is not what you want to do, though. Vindicta, you know, he's in a position here where he could get something done, but because he was forced to lift, because he got a little bit too aggressive, he is actually paying the price for it here. Even as he is able to snipe off these Banelings pretty doggone well. There's just not enough Marines here at the moment to be able to deal with these mutas. The mutas, they're no snowballing, but these Widowmine shots are going to force them back. And we have more and more Banelings, Zerglings, Banelings on the way, and Vanya says, you know what, I've taken too much damage. I'm going all in. This is a Zergling Baneling all in. We don't have any Evos. We don't have any upgrades on the way. And now we have some Banelings rushing in. Muta's on top, and well, he actually has a there are so many SCVs here, primed, ripe, and willing to go down, to get killed, and all of the SCVs at the third base will die here. And it feels like Vanya has snatched defeat from the jaws of victory, or at least snatched a significant advantage from the jaws of defeat. But these Baneling shots, they are all there, or these Widowmine shots, they're going to be everything. And you know what? They're not enough. Only three mutas go down. Behind this, 20 workers go down here. Vanya able to get something done. Now, he is not killed, though. That is the important thing. +2 attack is on the way here. He does not have any upgrades on the way. The question is, where does he go from here? Thanks to these mutas, they will get found out. Thors do a good number on them, and they're going to struggle to get something done on the amount of damage or with that thing that they have. Wow, incredible diction, incredible vocabulary here coming from your caster. As they try to do stuff, they do damage. No, but of course Thors do tremendous damage to mutas in numbers if they're not magic boxed properly. And whenever you find a clump of mutas that take a Thor shot, it just doesn't feel very good. So now we do have the Terran army marauding across once again, with maybe not quite the supply lead that we would like to see him have. That's not what I'm looking for. There we go. It looks like they're nursing just give and take army advantage here. But now there are 4 Widowmines. There is a Thor, decent bio army, and an upgrade lead. And all of these things give Vindicta some semblance of hope as he moves across the map, really trying to enforce his will on a game that he put himself in such a tremendous situation here to win in the early minutes. Zergling counterattack once again. Nice split on the Zerglings there. Vanya with the impeccable micro. But of course, he will be forced back. These Zerglings will not get a whole lot done. Widowmine's going to try to get on top of things. And, you know, it doesn't matter how good your splits are when you have 3 Widowmines. When you have almost as many Widowmines as you do have clumps of Zerglings. It doesn't really matter how nice you split. They're all going to go down. So now we have Vanya once again on the right-hand side, trying to see if he can draw the Terran back as the main Terran army is now moving forward. Creep will get taken down, and the foothold will commence. But this is a nice, I don't know, run-by? You call flyby? For the mutas here, and the wall is that there's actually no wall. So mutas are going to try to see what they can get done. Kill off all these supply depots at the very least. Try to supply block our Terran player. And the longer this waits, or the greater chance Vanya has of maybe getting some sort of upgrade advantage. But that is not going to be enough. Not really. It is now 2-2 versus 0-0. A 4 upgrade advantage here for Vindicta as he tries to move, tries to enforce his will, tries to enforce his dominance. While those Baneleys will get nothing done. Absolutely nothing done here. And that's another incredible Baneley shot. And then we have the army of Vindicta rallying across the map. The parade push has commenced. The army, the Grand Armée of Vindicta, trying to do what it can. But of course, with this parade push, that gives Vanya ample opportunity to just start his counterattacks, to move across the map, to say, hey, no. I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to fight you. I want to force you home every single time. I'm just going to try to kill what you have, what you hold most dear, with my Zerglings, with my Banelings. But, I mean, despite that, it just feels like he's slowly bleeding out. I mean, sure, he's forcing the Terran to return again and again. He's forcing him to step back. But look at the army supply. It's 50 army supply difference. Terran is pretty much on bases with the Zerg. Vanya only mining 3 workers from his 4th base. And, sure, he's survived, but he has not thrived. I like this 4th base will go down fairly quickly as well. And Vanya really suffering what doctors call failure to thrive. He's not dying for any while. Okay, we can talk. We can tell why he's dying. He died because he lost insane amounts to that Hellbat pressure. Now we do have the army of Vanya once again coming in. Is going to try to say, you know what? I have enough. I may not have upgrades, but I do have a prayer. I have Banelings, and sure, Banelings are worth worshiping. They are worth praying to, but they are not. The prayer, Vanya's prayers will not be answered this day. And now Vindicta moving in. Plus 50 army supply, finding position on top of the 4th base. Going to be able to start killing things off. Once again, Banelings, they're going to find themselves crashing in, but these are nice splits. These are nice target firing here from our favorite red Terran player. And as I say that, it looks like Vanya has just barely enough to hold back this contention. But now with the Widowmines here, the Widowmines are going to just get some insane shots. Actually, they're just going to do some trader shots as more and more of the army of Vindicta is going down. And Vanya, this is the closest he's been in army supply in quite a while. But now we have the parade push on the way here as Vindicta says, you know what, my 3-3 is just about done. Plus 3 attack is effectively done. And when I do that, when I have my 2 upgrade supremacy once again, well, that is when I will assert my dominance. But we do have a nice Ling Muta run by coming here from the upper left-hand side of the map, attacking into Vindicta's 4th base. But these Widow Mines, actually, Trader Mines, well done from Vanya to drag them right into the Terran army. And this attack does not really, well, okay, with that Widow Mine shot, maybe. And there we have it. GG. Vindicta take us to an ace match. Alright, game number 5 is going to be on Death Aura. This one is for some marbles, not all of the marbles. As we do have a best of 7 coming up, and well, another best of 5 and a best of 7 coming up after this. Players are loaded in. They've said go, go, which is, of course, far better to our interests than stop, stop. Players are ready. And we're loading in to game number 5, ace match here. Of this Alpha X Super Standard match number 1. Alrighty then, we're all loaded in. It's match point. It's series point. Winner goes to the finals. Loser goes to, I believe, the 3rd and 4th place match. I will have to confirm whether that is the case. But our players are loaded in. Let's do it. And here we are in the bottom right. In the red for Alpha X, it's And in the upper left, in the blue, for P100 Esports, it's Vanya. Alright, so the question, of course, is what are we going to see here on this map number 5? Are we going to see something crazy? Are we going to see something zany? Are we going to see our players go balls to the wall on game number 5? Because that is the least likely thing that is going to happen in this series. Probably not. I like to ask open-ended questions that have pretty definitive answers. As we see what is actually happening. So we see a standard opening here coming from Vanya once again. Reaper Expand coming from Vindicta. We're going to see one of our more standard. What's the word? One of our more standard games, at least in the early mid game, coming in here. As we do have, well, Reaper on the way. We did see no drone scout on this map, and I don't know whether this is because Vanya believes that this map is not all that great for 2-axes, or because he does not think his Terran opponent is going to go do it here in game number 5. Regardless, well, I should say regardless, that has been the correct call, as there is no proxy shenanigans on this map. And Vanya is going to be able to take advantage of that extra drone on into the mid-game. A little bit of extra mining. Again, it's not that much of a difference, but it does make a difference. Now the Reaper, going to go move across the map, says, you know what, I'm not worried. I've scouted your main base. I know what your timings are. I know what your creep time. Well, has he scouted the main base, actually? That's a good question. No, he just scouted the fact that there's creep. He scouted he saw what was coming out of the eggs, and that is all he has to know. No more, no less. And so the Reaper now finds his way across the map into the natural. Does that dance as old as time, a tale as great as rhyme. UT and the Reap. Sure. Well, we will go with that. So we do have the Reaper going in and out, in and out, in and out, to go to try to see what he can get done, and of course, most likely getting nothing. And I was going to go on into the main, but Queen's in rather excellent position. And the question here is, what is Vanya doing? So he is still 2 of 3 in gas, and this looks like the build he went for last game. The question, of course, is whether he will be able to accomplish what he was unable to do in the previous game. Whether he will be able to make that proxy mute, or that, not proxy mute, jeez. Whether he'll be able to make that 2-base muto work for him, and allow him to pin the Terran back and just get what he wants. So the big difference here is this has not been scouted. As such, I mean, Vanya knows, or Vindicta knows the lack of the 3rd base, and that may by itself trigger him to say, you know what, let's do it, Aubrey, let's do this thing again. But of course, if this is a Roach build, that is the exact opposite of what you want to do. You want tanks. You don't want to spend all that money on extra Hellions to turn them into Hellbats. And there we have the lair on the way at 345. We expect to see a couple more guesses now getting started. And we do have 2-base Muta on the way. But of course, this time, we're going to see Banshee follow up. We're going to see Banshee with Cloak. And you know what? I don't feel like Banshee... I feel like Banshee hits too late for it to really be good against 2-base Muta. I think Muta's hit the field around 6:15, 6:30 for the most part. And sure, Banshees are hitting a little bit faster than that, but it's close enough where the Mutas can just kind of shut them down and be done with it. But we are seeing Bio once again. I got excited. I saw the factory landing. I'm like, oh, more factories are being built. No, more factories are not, in fact, being built. We're just going to get Bio once again, which I guess is good for my sanity. But now we have the Zergling, or the Hellions. They're going to try to run in and see what they can get done. Dive on top, and they're just really going to kill a lot of Zerglings. Now, of course, the common rule. Excuse me. The common rule when dealing with Hellion, or when playing with Hellion Banshee, is you kind of want to keep your Hellions as safe as possible because they allow you to do more with the Banshees. But that is not the approach of Vindicta here. So he dove in, he just tried to see what he can get done, and he found that what he could get done was not all that much. So where are... Oh, okay. So this is not going to be Hellion Banshee anymore. That was canceled. Very interesting. So now we do have 1-1 on the way. Stim is now done. It looks like Vindicta, he's playing a standard third base style, which means he's more likely to get pinned back than he was in the previous game. And now with 8 mutas on the map, it is Vanya's turn to maybe try to get something done, even if that he has not been able to get done previously. But with the Hellions running in here, they're going to be able to get a couple workers. Not nearly the advantage that it would have been early in the game. 3 workers when you are at 56, well, not all that big of a deal. Now with the mutas getting ready to go across the map, Vindicta has a long route ahead of him as he's going to have to try to not get pinned back, to not really take all that much damage. He's already prepared. He does have missile turrets in his bases. Says, you know what? I know your wily tricks. I know what you're up to, Vanya. I have seen the future. And the future is mutas, and the future is death, and the future is sadness, and glaive worms bouncing amongst my SCVs. And in doing so, well, I may not be able to fully change the future, but I can alter it. And in doing so, these mutas really not going to get a whole lot done at first. But of course, the minute the Terran army moves out is the minute that the mutas do get something done. Now, the mutas are going to run in. They're actually going to almost take care of this tank. And this this by itself proves why you want widow mines, not tanks. So they're going to be able to get that tank. That already is some pretty nice damage here coming from Vanya. So we do have a mutas moving in on the left-hand side, trying to see what they can get done. Of course, there's a Marine force here that is rather substantive, so not a whole lot going to happen. But of course, the question here is not just what's going to happen now, is what is Vanya softening Vindicta up for? So Vanya, behind this, has managed to snowball himself up to a nice 30 supply lead in total. He's knocking out these rocks. So this is 2 things. One, of course, is the fact that Vanya will be able... well, won't be sieged up in that position. He's going to be able to do that. But more importantly, means that if he ever breaks Vindicta, the reinforcement lines with his Zerglings running across the map are going to, well, rather drastically decrease. Which means he's going to be able to potentially run over his opponent. Should there be time for that? Should there be a need for that? Should there be the opportunity for that? More so than anything else. And now we do have mutas. They're running on the left side. Once again, not really getting a whole lot done, but just enough. Actually, I think this is a fairly positive trade for the Terran player. Now, Vanya on 4 bases, 82 workers, and 1-1 is just about done. So now it looks like with 2-2 about halfway done, it looks like Vindicta said, you know what? Ooh, I'm sorry, that was unfortunate. With 2-2 done, or with 2-2 about halfway done, with sitting at 150 supplies, about 100 army supply. Now is my opportunity to get something done, to move across the map. But this is the Mutaflock has been growing this entire time, and sure, one of them is going to go down. And actually, that's nice because it tells him where the angle of attack from the rest of the mutas are too. So he's not going to return, and he's going to try to box these in. But nope, the mutas will be able to get out. Now we do have the Zerglings, the Banelings now. They're running in through the speed zone, which means the Banelings connect even better here. And now the Zerglings running on the left-hand side, running on the right-hand side. The muta just on top of everything. And Vanya just looks like he almost has too much here. That being said, though, there's a bunch left, actually. And with that, the question is whether there are enough mutas in the sky to take care of everything. Only 14 mutas left. And that is, some of them are moving across the map here. But it looks like Vanya has gone for the Mutalink Bane bust and was roughly successful. Their army supplies do equalize now. And with 2-2 finishing here for Vindicta, he's going to have a nice timing where he has that nice upgrade lead over his Zerg opponent. Now, Vanya on 5 bases, Vindicta on 3 with a 4th on the way. Well, that is, of course, that is something that definitely goes in the Terrans or the Zerg's favor here. But it's more, of course, the game is more to it than, there's more to the game than that. 2-2 is now done. Two is now done, which means that the Terran fighting force is that much stronger, that much scarier. But now we do have the army of Vanya once again chasing into Marines, into Thors, into all of these tasty things. But the Banelings are here, and the Banelings are, well, they're scary, even off a creep. A nice blitz here coming from Vindicta as he tries to defend it all, but he actually will take some fairly nice Baneling shots here. But of course, the thing is, there are just not enough upgrades for any of this army. So the meters will go down once again. All right, so now we have the Terran push on the way. He says, you know what, I think I took that last fight well enough. I think I have a good enough army supply that now I feel safe moving on Crawford Creep. I'm going to be able to get what done, what I must. I'm going to be able to accomplish what I must do. And you know what? It looks like he's going to be able to do that, at least for the time being. Now, of course, the trick here is 3-3 is only just now getting started. Well, again, 3-3 only just getting started. So there is a time. The timing window that Vindicta potentially had is not nearly as large as nice as it once was. So now we do have mutas. We have Zerglings running on into the 4th base. They're going to try to get something done with the tanks here, with the Marines here. They really should not get a whole hell of a lot. Alright, so now we have a drop on the right-hand side. Really not going to get a whole lot done with the mutas here, with the Zerglings here, really more than anything else. And this is Vanya playing this heavy Zergling style that we've seen some Zergs move on to now. Especially with the Baneling nerf, where it's not so much about the Banelings anymore. I mean, it is, but the Banelings are more to prevent the Terran from firing than they are to actually, you know, get a lot done here. And it's interesting. It's interesting to see how the meta evolves. So now we do have a decent swing of Zerglings and Banelings running on the left-hand side. I'm going to try to see what they can get done, but with the 2 tanks here, with the Planetary, yeah, they will never, well, I shouldn't say never, it will be difficult for them to break that. Alright, so we do have them running in once again. The tank shots all that are required to remind Vanya that maybe he doesn't want to take that fight. So the drop did really not get a whole lot done here. We are in the corruptor stage of the game, which means drops, well, medevacs, they die fast. Alright, so we now have Mutiling Bane, we have Ultralisks with Carapace with Chitinous Plane just about done. Down in 1 second now. There it is. These are some tanky boys. And now we have a nice full surround coming in here from our Zerg plays. He tries to be able to take care of these tanks. Maybe knock out the 4th base. And you know what? I don't think he has enough here. Yeah, the repair's going to be good. And that was just expensive. Sure, 15 workers go down for the Terran player, but he's at 50, he's at 56. Okay. The point I was going to make though was this was an attack from Vanya that did not get what it wanted to get done. But on the flip side, Vanya owns the map. Vindicta really cannot get up above his 150 supply mark, try as he might. And it feels like we're just going to see waves and waves of Zerg crashing in once again, resetting tank counts, doing all these things until it wins. Now, I'm not going to say that this is hopeless for Vindicta. You know, far from it. But it is not an easy situation. Really not going to get a whole lot done. Of course, everything's been pulled away here, and the nuke will drop. But well, Ghost is dying as well. Now we do have a nice drop here in the main base, with really not a whole lot of health on these medevacs. They will just get sniped down. One will escape, but Corruptor's hot on the chase. I don't really think that's enough. But now we have another nice nuke onto the 4th base here. And this one will land. It's not something that Vanya has paid attention to. Vanya, you got to move your drones. Vanya just moving just barely in time, but still going to lose 18 workers for his troubles. Although I guess some of those may have been that Liberator. And now that the Ghost with a second nuke coming in as well. This one will not get off. And this is quite a minefield that Vindicta has set up for himself as he tries to claw his way back into this game. Alright, so now we do have the Banelings. They're running in. The Widowmines, they're going to try to get some shots, and they're actually going to get some fairly significant shots here. Ghosts with their snipes out. Not getting a ton of them off, but getting maybe enough here. And now Vanya is running in, just trying to spend that bank that he has. He's going to be able to take out this 5th base, just force a lift. And the Corruptors here, they're going to try to target things down. But the Ghost now taking massive snipes just out of the way here. And these, all of the, well, the Zerg army is just dying. But the question is not whether this army dies. The question is whether the next one, and the next one, and the next one dies, because the remax is almost instantaneous. That being said, though, Vanya lost a whole lot more than Vindicta did in that last fight, even if he did lose 10 workers. But again, workers are replaceable. Ultras, they're a little bit harder. Ultras are 12 times the cost of a worker. So now we have the Zerg army once again running in, this time with less Ultras. But really just trying to establish, to prevent the Terran from taking the space that he wants. And this creep spread is absolutely insane. The creep spread on the map here, encroaching upon the Terran's 3rd base, because really Vindicta has not been fighting in that region at all. And Vanya just suffocating the map. He has taken both rich golds. Or both rich Vespian guests. He has taken both of them on this map. And if that does not speak to the status of this game, I don't know what does. But now we do have nukes on the way here. Vanya checking for it. He knows where it is. Okay, the one nuke will not go down. Second one will. 8 workers going down. Not really the biggest of deals here. As once again, we have our Terran army getting aggressed upon. But this is not that scary of an army, to be honest. It's just a couple Banes, a couple Ultras, and with those Widowmine chests, not a lot less Banes now. And it feels like the longer this lasts, it is in fact better for the Terran as he tries to turtle and sandbag his way out. But now we have our next move. We have potentially the winning move in this game, if it is able to stay hidden. We have Broodlords on the way, and when you're just trying to slow push into your Terran, who is just turtling up hard, Broodlords are an excellent way to do is. But now we have a Liberator. It's going to move on the left-hand side. Really not going to be able to get a whole lot done. But now this Ghost is going to be able to, more importantly than anything else, it will scout the fact that there are Broodlords on the way. So Broodlords look to be aggressive on the... Well, on the right-hand base, and actually this is going to be forced a lift forced immediately. Nice Banelings. Oh, I'm sorry, nice Widowmines, I should say, but... Snipes are now going to go in, they're going to try to take care of things. And with the Queens here, with tons of energy, well, this is a rather tough push to hold off here. As we do have another significant amount of army on the Terran's fourth, what is that, 5th base side. And nice snipes. So these snipes will be able to take out a decent amount of these Broodlords. Although, again, we are seeing the Broodlords getting their attacks off. And it feels like Vindicta, well, Vindicta is actually in a massively good position here. As he finds himself up 20 army supply. He's up upgrades. All the Queens are going to die. Most of the Broodlords have died. That being said, though, we do have a decent amount of Ultralights moving in from the left with Banelings as well. And the Banelings are the scary thing here. And they will crush through just about everything. But the question, though, is whether the time has been bought, whether Vindicta has bought enough time to build the army of his dreams, whether he will be able to move across the map and sweep the Zerg from it. Looks like he will at least start here with this, well, whatever number base this is, really advanced base. And looks like in our Zerg army, we have 20 ghosts and 9. We have more ghosts than we have Marines and Marauders combined, which honestly I don't hate. They do tons of damage versus Zerglings, versus Banelings. They are not light. They have long-range snipe abilities. They're pretty dang good all around. So now we have another nuke on the way here. This one probably... Okay, this one will get off. Finally not in a position to defend it. All right, so now the drone's back to mining once again, and we have the Zerg army once again slowing forward. Slow? I don't like that word necessarily. Once again, aggressing forward, trying to see what it can get done. And well, these broodlords, they're just getting sniped down. The question is, what can the rest of the army do? Now, that's a decent amount of corruptors. All the medevacs will be gone from the skies. Decent mine hit number 1. I believe it killed a decent amount of Terran bio as well. Otherwise, it would be insane mine hit. And behind this, we do have a drop somewhere. Okay, the drop in the upper right will kill 16 workers. Oh, okay, Liberator on that base. And now it looks like for the first time in this game, Vanya or Vindicta's going to be able to clear some of this creep out. Nice snipes are coming on all the corruptors. Many corruptors going down. And actually, Terran will be able to knock out another base. Meanwhile, action happening on the left-hand side. This drop will get cleaned up. But it looks like Vindicta's not going to be able to clear enough creep out to be able to take that base as his own. But now he finds himself up 100 supply. 50 total army. No, yeah. 50 total army supply here. He's up on workers. He's up on bases. He's up on economy. He's just up about every... Well, it's not up on bases, but he's up on functioning bases. And the question is, what advantage does Vanya have? Well, Vanya has massive creep spread. He has the majority of the map. And he has his temerity. He has his tenacity. And he has a lot of Banes. A lot of Banes can never be underestimated. So if a ghost will get found out. And a nice circling counter attack coming in from the... Really coming through the middle. Going to try to get on top of the Terran's production here. And will not be able to do so. The wall is up now. Of course, this ghost will not be able to get its nuclear payload off. And nice pull here on the rally to make sure that this counterattack does not really get a whole lot done. Meanwhile, we have the army of the Zerg player moving across the map, or trying to take out this new expansion from the Terran player that neither player can really take and hold all that easily. And 20 workers going down because of it. 20 workers is a lot of workers, but the question is, has this exposed the rich Vespene gas of our Zerg player? It looks like it has. Nice snipes. But now the ghosts are out in front. They're going to try to see what they can get done. Of course, they do bonus damage to light. They are not light themselves. And the army of Vanya is striking. There we have it. GG. Vindicta moving on into the finals. All right, so we're going to go... we need max packs, and we need... future, so we're going to wait for that. I'm going to go to break, and I'm actually going to grab a little bit of a snack. And when we're back, we're going to have max pack versus future. Don't go anywhere. All right, we are back. That's exciting. That's wonderful. We have our second best of 5 of the evening. It will be Future. It will be MaxPax. Exxon versus Alpha X in the perennial matchup of North America's 2 largest teams. Although, of course, MaxPax is European. Of course, Future. Of course, the future of North America. The future of Terran. Something like that is what his Twitter handle goes by. And we're just waiting for the players to give the ready up command. And when we do, we're going to move on into our second best of 5 of the evening. And our players are ready. Everdream will be our first map. And away we go. As soon as StarCraft lets me get into the game. There we go. All right. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen here. We saw some fast games. We saw some slow games from the last series. I'm excited to see a mix of both here as well. As we load it in to map number 1. Let's get there. And in the upper right, in the blue, representing Team Exxon, it's MaxPax. And in the bottom left, in the yellow, for Alpha X, it's Future. And now we have both players. I mean, these players play each other a lot. Please play each other a decent amount. And actually, it looks like... Where's the probe? Is there a probe on the map? There is not, but this looks like it's the proxy. From the gas timings, this looks like it's proxy Void Ray. But from the fact that there's no probe on the map, I don't think it is. No, okay, it's gonna be. This is gonna be proxy tech of some sort. You don't get gas before cyber this fast on standard PvT openings. It really is only. Where are you going? Okay, so you're going to put it there, which is not exactly proxy Void Ray scenario here coming from MaxPax. It's this is more like maybe proxy Oracle, but you don't do proxy Oracle off of one base. It's kind of all in. Is this could this be a proxy Robo? I don't know. I'm excited to see what MaxPax says. I feel like this is tickling a. Okay, so this is the Stargate. We're just going to see a. Yeah. So the question is, where does the probe go here? Is the probe going to go home? Or is he going to go start trying to put down some shield batteries? So now, oh wow, the Reaper is wise in the ways of the Protoss player. He will catch the probe going in, and he will catch the fact that there is a Stargate on the way. And of course, with the lack of shield batteries here, well, the proxy Void Ray is not all that great without shield batteries. Now he's going to catch the second probe too. Oh no, this is a disaster for MaxPax here. He's not going to be able to get anything up at all. I wouldn't. You know what? I would not blame him for just GGing out right now, to be totally honest. And that sounds terrible, but that is the kind of situation we sit here in. Sure, proxy Cyclone. Proxy Cyclone, what's that? Proxy Void Ray is strong, but you need the shield battery. You need the shield batteries to defend it. Okay, now we have another probe going out. The Reaper did not catch it, which means we will start to see some shield batteries going up now, but they have not had time to build, and shield batteries are one of the longest building the units that take the longest to build in the Protoss arsenal, and MaxPax has not given up quite yet. So now the Reaper's going to try to see what he can get done. More importantly, this is a scouting tool at this point. First Void Ray out, second Void Ray on the way, and the Widowmine's going to hit it. And that is already damage that he does not want to take at the moment. And this is a one-base Terran opener. This is a new way to try to handle this. So we do have a double Stargate here coming out from our Terran player. And that is interesting. This is unlike... So generally you see double Cyclone or something. But no, this is double Stargate, so you can get your Vikings out that much faster. And I really like this decision from Future. So first of all, he's managed to delay these shield batteries in their entirety. And there's a shield battery on the low ground, max packs. You can use that. But now he is going to target this down with the overcharge beam. And sure, there are some SCVs there, but they should be able to DPS this down over the repair of the SCVs. But the question is, will he lose anything in exchange? Yeah, okay, there we go. One Void Ray going down. Second one is here. We still have two. Third one now on the way once again. Of course, this bunker will not complete. But we're gonna hit a Viking point where it's just not gonna work because of course Vikings are more microable than, well, they are more microable than Void Rays are. So now, okay, the Void Rays are gonna try to target down at the supply depot, as is their want, as is their prerogative, and as the aggressive Void Ray in this matchup. But of course, I think we're hitting the point where there's maybe just enough anti-air that to make it really hard. So we do have these Vikings. They're going to try to target things down. Looks like they're eventually going to lose one supply depot. The question is whether we're going to lose more. And now we do have the Void Rays. They do kill Vikings rather fast because, of course, Vikings are armored units. And now there are Protoss unit army in the main base. And the question is whether Future can hold. I really liked his opening. He feels like he's doing everything right. But there's a reason that Parting said that this is absolutely unholdable. This is broken. The balance team screwed up. This is an unholdable build for the most part. And what we're seeing it kind of now, it seems like Max Pax is getting more and more of an opportunity here to really get what he wants to get done. But of course, he can't lose. He doesn't want to lose another Void Ray. There we do have the shield batteries coming up back up once again as he works on killing. Should be able to just target. Okay, there we go. Barracks is going to die. No more Marines. And at this point, it's the Stalkers that are the scary part. I mean, as much as the Void Rays are scary, true. But it is not. They're not trading one Void Ray. Okay, now the Void Ray does go down here. As actually it looks like the shield batteries are running out of energy. So now Stalkers are going to keep warping, and Stalkers sitting at the very back. And I think are we at the tipping point? You know what? I think, as I said, as I was talking about, well, it feels like Max Pax is really making it work. I feel like maybe we're at the tipping point. Man, this is so hard to call. I think we're at the point where the Terran has an advantage. And it looks like behind this, Max Pax has given up on the Void Ray idea. We have a Twilight Council behind it. We have, looks like he wants to, from pro positioning, looks like he wants to get a natural. But of course, that's not the big thing. Is we do have the Stalker. They're going to, wow, Vikings are going to land on top of the Stalkers, and Vikings kill Stalkers rather quickly. All the Stalkers are going to die. But 6 more workers go down. It is now Max Pax 24 workers at the 16 of his Terran opponent. And I think we're moving on. We're stabilizing. And I do stand corrected, by the way. That probe that was sent down to make it natural doesn't look like it's really going to do it. And it's interesting. So we see these Stalkers trying to kill this. But it's not even a lack of repair. It's a lack of money. Futures really finds himself in a harsh economic situation here as he tries to keep this bunker alive with literally 1 Marine in it. But now there's a tank out. And these Stalkers are, well, they're not the best position to be able to deal with this. However, Blink is halfway done. And I feel like that will catch Future by surprise here. There we do. Now we have the natural on the way. Vikings coming in from a weird angle, trying to see what they can get done. Will not be successful. And now the tank is in a great position here. You cannot hit the bunker without getting shelled by the tank. So now the Stalkers, they're just kind of sitting back here as if this line was made for them. They said, do not pass here. Do not pass go. Now, half the Vikings are landed. Half the Vikings are in the air. Just about. So now the Void Rays, they're going to run in. They're going to try to see what they can get done. But the Vikings are there. The Vikings are scary. And a Void Ray should just go down for this indiscretion. But no. Stalkers are there in position. And these tanks, one tank's just going to go down. And now Blink is done here. So, oh, they're just going to blink out. And now, with Stalkers are now done, the Void Rays are here. Void Rays are going to be able to turn things on. But, well, actually, you know what? Maybe they've killed enough Okay, so all the Vikings are just not going to go down, and MaxPax indecisive as anything. Says, do I want to go up? Do I want to go down? I don't really know. This tank is a scary, scary thing that I don't want to deal with. Zoom out. There we go. Now he's gonna Joe. He's gonna blink on top. Nope, he's not. I just want to see him. I keep expecting him to blink on top of this tank, but he's not going to do it. There comes the blink, but it is a blink too late, as now there is a second tank out. And MaxPax has just traded how many Stalkers? 18 Stalkers, 5 Void Rays. And meanwhile, what's in the... Oh, a Viking has made its way across the map and has killed 5 probes. Just as Dustin Browder intended. But now we have this tank Viking force trying to win the game for our Terran player, or for our Protoss players. There's only one gate here on MaxPax's side of the map, and sure, he's up in economy rather significantly. Well, the boys have been pulled, the tanks have been pulled, the Vikings have been pulled, everything has been pulled here. And I just don't think that that MaxPax has the production to do that. You know what? I think now's the time really for him to just go back into Void Rays, because I don't think there are enough Vikings to contest the Void Rays at this point. Okay, but never mind. There are more and more Vikings on the way, so that would maybe not be the best call. And this is... Yeah, I think we're seeing... I think Future has this. This SCV pool of landed Viking, 1 tank, 1 Marine is now going to come into the natural here of MaxPax and try to end the game. Now, there are, of course, 2 shield batteries here, and maybe that's enough, but tanks are shelling away at things. Pylons are going down, and the Vikings, the landed Viking Brigade. This is just straight out of a cinematic here. As the Vikings say, you know what? We are better than you, and we will win this game. The probes have been pulled, but it's not going to be enough. And Future, he's found his avenue in this game. Oh, wow. The Future has found his avenue in this game. He's going to force MaxPax off the natural into the main base. And I think this is it. Now, Stalker's going to blink on top of the tank, and that is nice. The tank's going down, which takes a lot of damage from this army away. And there's only Hellions coming in here. But now we now have the Vikings now finding their way into the main base. And is it stalling out? Has his Future stalled out? I don't think so. He's still up significantly in army supply here. MaxPax doing what he can with the Blink Stalker Micro, trying to see what he can do to get back into to maybe just shave things off and leave it to its only SCVs. But the bunker, or the pylon is down. It's only two Stalkers left. They're gonna blink for their lives, but even the Hellions can do it at that point. And GG. Future taking game number 1. Oh, that was fun. That was I don't really know about that. I don't know what I don't know about that. Alright, it looks like we're going to EU by process of elimination for game number 2. And pardon me if I eat while doing this. I went for a ran right before this, and at the end of the MaxPax series, I just felt my energy levels crashing through the floor. So that was not great. Because I like to be able to bring you all this content, this exciting gameplay. And in order to do so, I need to be able to actually have some sort of energy ready. Energy for things. It is actually crazy, though. When you think about it. So, when you think of being hungry, you're like, oh, my son, no, but in this case, I didn't particularly feel hungry. Like, oh man, I want to eat. But more like it just energy levels crashing through the floor, struggling to keep my eyes open as I cast this exciting game number 5. I'm like, oh, well, that's not good. That's not good at all. We should probably fix that so I can continue casting this best of 5. And then the Exxon Cup later tonight on my own channel. And, of course, we have one player from Exxon loaded into game number 2. Actually, I guess we technically have 2 because I'm casting it. But here we are. And in the bottom left, in the red. Down 1 game in this series. We'll fix that in a second. It is MaxPax. And in the bottom right, in the blue, representing Alpha X, it's Future. Oh, did not mean to do that. There we go. Scores are fixed. And we see a probe moving out across the map already. Of course, this one is much more likely to be a scouting probe, as we do see a gate on the low ground here. MaxPax showcasing his desire to expand. But of course, what MaxPax shows and what MaxPax does always have the potential to be 2 different things. However, this is Golden Wall. It's a big map. It's a hard map to get damage done into the main. I don't really expect to see him do anything like that here in this game number 2. Although, again, I would really I don't know if you have the mining time for it. Actually, I think you could if you mine out in the middle. So you could run your proxy void ray, your shield batteries here, and then there's 0 way for the Terran to get on top of it. And you have like you have the entire backside of the main base to be able to do things. Right, so what do we have here? Adept going to be chronoed out just in time for the Reaper to arrive, and Reaper will see that, we'll see that there's natural, but I believe the Reaper should die here. Yeah, the Adept's going to be able to get it. You actually don't see that all that often anymore, surprisingly enough, but the Reaper will die this time. Was unlucky enough to take a shot from the Adept as it moved across the map, but of course the Reaper, what it does do, in part, is it prevents the SCV from getting picked off, from all those things from getting delayed, because of course it means that these Adepts, they have to deal with their troubles at home before they deal with their troubles abroad. So now we're going to have the 2 Adepts move across the map, but there's really not a whole lot for them to get done here. The bunker is full, or at least the Marine is in the bunker, and that bunker is not necessarily full. Now the Adepts, they're just going to run into the mineral line here, absolutely bypassing this bunker, only taking a little bit of damage. And now move up, try to see what they can get done. Once again, and they really should. I would expect to see them just kind of sit here and deny mining for the time being. Although this Hellion is going to do them dirty. Just barely not getting the Hellion actually, but they will both survive. So no death for no death. Valid trade. And behind this, we do have MaxPax going for an Oracle behind this, but of course this is a Stargate inside of his base, not an Oracle elsewhere on the map, and that is a fast third base. Especially in this matchup. Especially without Blink. So sometimes you'll see a 4 o'clock-ish, or 4-minute third base, maybe even a little faster coming from the Protoss player, when they go 3-gate Blink, when they go 2-gate Blink, they're trying to be defensive, but doing this off Oracle Adept, oh man, that is greedy. Now we do have a second Oracle on the way here. It's going to maybe get something done, but of course, with the Cyclone already out in the main base, well, this first Oracle, should not really get a whole lot done. Only going to lose its shields, though. And behind this, what is this? 3-1. Do we have a natural? Okay, so this is we're going to see some aggression coming here from Future in this game number 2. We're going up to 3 racks. It's going to be 3-1 without a command center. That nice +1 tank timing that we see so often. Now I need to figure out what in the world All right. Now the Oracles, they're going to keep shirking around, see what they can get done, but they're just more for vision at this point. And because they haven't really been able to get any sort of damage done, I worry about the push from Future. MaxPack's taking that tremendously fast third base. He does not have any Robo units, but you know what? Actually, you know what this is? This is the Skilless build. This is the Astraeus build, or the Astrea build. Nice catch on that Cyclone. The skill build, the Astrea build, where you just go and you get a bunch of gates and you get a third base and you don't take gases really at all. Although he's taking gas in his natural though. Generally, I believe it's the build I'm thinking of is generally 3 gas, so we're getting 4 gas here. It's maybe a little bit more, but he wants to move into Charge Lot Archon much faster, and he has Phoenixes out behind this. Do we have any on the map that I've missed? No, okay, so yeah, 1 Phoenix out on the map. Yeah, more and more gates on the way here. And the question is whether they will be out in time. Only 4 gates. 2 more on the way, going up to a grand total of 6. I would like to see 8 or 9. That's kind of where this becomes overwhelming. You just have enough charge lots that you're able to swallow up this Marine force. Now, we do have some more Phoenix on the way, which means that these Medivacs are going to have to be a little bit careful. We have Archons on the way. Archons morphing in as well. Okay, so with 2 Phoenix, 2 Oracle, there's maybe something to get on, but Charge is now done. He's hitting right before +1 armor. Nice Widowmine shots, and Future's kiting backwards, but it's going to be rather difficult for him to take this fight. And as I say that, well, you know, if he kites like that, if he macros like that, well, he's going to be able to take that fight. As we now see a drop coming in on the bottom side of this map, coming in from Future here. Meanwhile, the top hand side is distracting the Phoenixes, but nope. They will not be found. Not quite yet. Future being incredibly careful with his drop here. And the Phoenixes now are going to bypass them in their entirety as they look to move on into the main base. And now we have 4 Medivacs worth of bio. Now looking to push on into the third base from the traditional position. Not to. The drop was able to evade detection. Although I would like to see him finish dropping. There we go. Alright, now he's once again running in. With only one Widowmine is going to go off. And not the best shot, to be honest. And now we're at the point where, sure, Future is up in Army Supply. Don't get me wrong, that is a thing. However, +1 Zealots, well, they're forced back, as I say that. But the point I'm making is, you know, when you have that many gates and when Bio's in low numbers and relatively low upgrades, the Zealots just get on top of and kill the Bio so fast. But now we have the Terran once again pushing in. This time he will have enough potentially Widowmines. Nice Widowmine shots here as it evaporates most of the Zealots. And at this point, it looks like Future has found his position into the, maybe between the natural and the third. But as I say that, well, more Archons here, more Phoenix, and things just can kind of continue to die. But on the flip side of the map, we do have Future. He is taking the gold base as his third base, so that's really going to fuel his aggression here. Well, he's trying to do it, but there's a Zealot and an Oracle. They're just doing what they can to delay that. Actually doing a fairly good job of it, too. But of course, the question is not even that. The question is what is happening in the front here. And the question is, more importantly than that, is will Future be able to break MaxPax here? Now, nice Widowmine shots. One of them will soften everything up, will not kill, though. And now we're at the point where there's no anti-air, so the Medivacs go down, and MaxPax has held. So, MaxPack's still sitting here on Charge Lot Archon, and generally, when you do this, yeah, we don't even have a Robo at all. That's cool. So yeah, generally when you do this, you do transition out of Charge Lot Archon into something with a little bit more oomph. Into Colossi or Disruptor. And yeah, we don't even have Storm on the way. Also, it's rather interesting that we see a Forge being added now as +3 armor is getting started. As with Chrono as well, that means that you really only need 1 Forge per minute here. But now we do have the army charging in. Okay, actually MaxPack's kind of failing in his attack here, only attacking piecemeal. The Zealots now going to be able to get on top of these Widowmines without too much issue. But in exchange, they will transfer their lives in the exchange. Where is this drop? Okay, the Liberator gets into the main base, and actually some of the Stalkers are going to warp in on top of the Liberator, so they will lose their lives as well. But it looks like MaxPax has managed to penetrate the third base here. He's going to force a lift Gonna be able to get a lot of SCVs. Nice force field there to be able to kill that off. And now the Medivacs, there's lifting all of the Widowmines, kill or sorry, well, the Phoenix lifting all the Widowmines, killing all the Medivacs. And I feel like MaxPax has maybe found his opening, but the supplies are even. You know, I would really like to see some gas spared for Storm, but I guess that I guess he just doesn't have the money for that. Now we do have the Biostimmy out, and the army of MaxPax is not all that scary at the moment. He's missing a couple Warpins, but now we do have it running in. +2 attack, or +2 armor is done versus 1/1. +3 is just about done here. And we now have the Terran Kite happening once again. But every time he turns, every time he hits, he takes more and more damage. As these Phoenixes have really been worth their weight. This is not part of what you see at the stop, but these Phoenixes are doing a tremendous job here. So now we have the Phoenixes sharking around, see when they can get done, but of course, there's enough bio, there's enough Widowmines that makes life rather difficult. And I got news for you folks. We finally have a Robo going down. 12 minutes in this game, and a Robo is on its way. So we have these probes now, they're going to try to see if they can mine out this wall. They will not be allowed to do so, but now we do have some nice force fields here as the charge slots try to see what they can get done. But there are just enough Widowmines here that the charge slots evaporate. And now we do find future up 20 army supply with arguably a better army. Ghosts are in there as well. So the shields on these Archons are just going to find themselves going away. Okay, that's what that probe damage was. Nice EMP on these Archons. And now the army is scary. The army is terrifying. Now we have Charles running on top of all of these Widowmines. And it looks like Future has maybe found his foothold. His foothold has maybe suffered enough in this game to try to get done what he wants. But now we do have, it looks like, well, we have just have enough charge slots here, and Future's going to be forced to micro around this pillar, and that is, well, that's just a force field. And that means the charge slots can get on top of it. And there we have it, GG, MaxPax, evening up the series. All right. Series is even. We're going back to North America. Future just never really able to quite get the engagement that he needed. And I think that in part was because he went aggressive, and the whole build that MaxPax went for relies on the fact that you want your opponent to tech into you. That is the whole point of it. You want your opponent to tech into you. That is the entire point of that build. That is the reason for its existence. And when your opponent does that, well, that is creme de la creme. That is exactly what you want. That allows you to justify your fast third base because you're just building units with minerals. You're just building off gates, and that's how that works. All right, so MaxPax has requested a short break, so we're going to go to 1-2. When we're back, we're going to have Game 3, MaxPax versus Future. All right, I'm back. Our players are back. MaxPax has accomplished his break. Let me tilt this up a little. There we go. MaxPax has accomplished his break. And in doing so, we are now ready for our game number 3. We'll be on Pillars of Gold. And, well, okay, never mind. That was a different matchup. Does not matter in the context of this series. But what does matter in the context of this series is our players are loaded in to game number 3. And here we are in the upper right, in the blue, representing Team Exxon. It's MaxPax. And the bottom left, in the gold for Alpha X, it's Future. All right, so of course MaxPax. Interestingly, I find his name rather interesting because of course Pax is Latin, not Roman. Roman's not a language. Latin is, although the Romans did speak it. So you win some, you lose some. Anyway, his name is Latin for peace. In fact, you may be familiar with the wow, I can't even remember what it was called. The Peace of Augustus. Anyway, yes. But interestingly enough, MaxPax, of course, he adds terror to his opponent at night. He comes up with these zany builds, these crazy builds, to try to kill his opponent, and make his life as difficult as possible. And yet his name is Max Peace. Go figure. But there's the Latin is like si vis pacem parabellum. Look for peace, but prepare for war. And that apparently is what MaxPax is going for here. As he will take his natural, though. We see no zaniness, no craziness coming from him on this game number 1. We see no second gas. We see no early tech. We just see MaxPax, Parabellum, preparing for war. And now with a Reaper across the map, this is just going to confirm the scout that Future I got earlier. This says, you know what? Okay, I see what your tag is progressing. I know you're probably not going to try to kill me too daggone early, as we do have a second gas, though. And of course, this gas is much more in line with your standard gas timings. Of, oh yeah, this is why I want to be able to move on into the mid game. I want to get some tech eventually, etc., etc., etc. So, of course, MaxPax, Future tries to even get in, but the Adept doing a good job of zoning him away. I believe is there an Adept on the high ground too? There is not. But the Reaper is going to try to see whether he can get in. Okay, of course, this is blocked off with the Reaper Cliff. So the Reaper's not really going to get a whole lot of scouting here. And that, of course, is he going to be able to see that? Oh, wait. Almost. Notice he tried to jump himself over the pylon, but didn't quite get the angle correctly. But now we do have a Stargate coming in once again, and we have about 45 seconds until we see whether MaxPax is MadPax. Whether he has craziness in his heart once again. Is he going to take that pre-4 minute fourth base against the Terran? I don't know, but it's gearing up that way. Well, he appears to be mirroring his build from the previous game thus far. So now we do have an Adept moving across the map. And this is going to be a Phoenix opener, so maybe not. Maybe not that double Oracle into holding with large amounts of charge slots. But to be fair, the Oracles didn't do a whole lot. Well, okay. Yeah, this is a vastly different game here. So we do have a Robo coming down before 4 minutes instead of after 12 minutes. So yeah, vastly different game. And the question is, how else will our dear Danish player adapt, change? What else is part of his build here? So he is going Mass Phoenix. So this is probably into Phoenix Colossus, which of course takes the third a little bit later. Actually, rather significantly later here. Now as the Hellions are trying to get it on in, Hellion will get in, good scouting. Not going to be able to kill anything though, most likely. I highly doubt it. But now this is provided license for the, well, I was going to say provide license for the Phoenix to move across the map. But there's just not enough of them, so not really anything there. And once again, we do see our Gold Terran trying to put on some aggression. as we move into things. There is no third base on the way. There is just a lot of gateways. We're going on to that nice 3-1-1 push once again with +1, with stim, and with combat shields. And it is a spooky one. So yeah, notice with this Phoenix, well, it's probably going to be Phoenix Colossus, but we do have yeah, okay, it should be Phoenix Colossus. With this Phoenix Colossus style coming out of Max Spec here, he takes his third a full minute slower than he did in that previous game. Now, I don't know whether that's something he scouted differently from Future, because Future is doing the same thing that he did in the previous game. So, actually, okay, the Phoenix will get out. We'll not trade a Phoenix for an SCV, which of course is a terrible, terrible, terrible trade. Phoenix, once again, they're going to try to see what they can get done. Too many Marines here for them to really make any sort of positive trade without dying. And now we do have the Colossi out. And the question, of course, is whether Max Pack sticks at that magic 5 Phoenix number. That is the common one. That is how far you go into Phoenix Colossus when you do that. But I have seen, on some rare instances, I have seen Protoss just continue Phoenix production after 5. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's rather weird. It's situational. I don't really understand quite why they do it. But it is, okay, it is a possibility. So the Phoenix going to continue to shark around, but with the with the limited avenues of attack that Max Specs can use to get into the main, into the natural here of Future, plus excellent turret placement means that, well, these Phoenixes are really not getting, these Phoenixes, to actually properly decline it, are really not going to get a whole lot done. But what they are doing is they are forcing the Terran to stay back. But now we do have the bunker. It has been salvaged, and now we do have the army of the Terran moving across the map. And I believe this is something that Max Pack saw. Well, he certainly sees it now. Is he going to try to do what he can to delay things, to kill off Medivacs if he has the ability? But above else, he's just going to try to shave off whatever he can to make it so it is that much easier for him to hold at his third base. And we do have 4 shield batteries on the way. Most of them are just about done. And this is going to be a rather... And actually, we do see him now running out on the map to really take advantage of the fact that this was scanned so he can force a siege up, which, of course, when the siege up is forced, well, the siege up is forced, the fight can happen, the slower it is. And now we have the Phoenixes running in. And we have Vikings on the way. That's rather early for the... You don't tend to see Vikings for this type of push. But do we have any Twilight? We have no Twilight, so there is no Blink, there is no Charge. Which means that all that our Protoss player can do to hold is strictly with his Robo units, of course. And there is a Raven, which means these Robo units not going to get a whole lot done. One Colossus shall be disabled. The second one will not be, as the Phoenix shoot it down. And maybe with this one Colossus, maybe with the one Colossus and the Immortal and the shield battery overcharge, another Colossus on the way. I think this is enough to hold. It will have to be, though, because otherwise Future will take himself onto match point here in this game, in this best of 5. But now Future has found the position he's looking for. He owns the position between the natural and the third base. Is he going to be able to stim on top of this Colossus and maybe kill it off? But that is only Marines, and Colossi own Marines. Actually, these Vikings are going to be able to get on top of things, and the Vikings are rather problematic here, as the Vikings, well, the Colossus will not be able to escape. Although with the Phoenix is continually in production here, well, the Vikings are just going to go down, and there we have it. The Viking force is now done. It's more and more come in, but this is 4 tanks, and this is a terrifying thing to engage into, especially because, of course, the Vikings provide vision, so you can't even exist inside your own natural all that well. So now we do have the Terran Bio stimming in once again. Gonna be able to try to get on top of this Robo before the Colossus gets up, and it will be successful in its attempt. So now the 2 Colossi here are the only 2 Colossi that will exist. Well, yeah, 2 Colossi here, the only 2 Colossi that will exist for a good amount of time. Charge is on the way, but Charge may not be enough, and this position for Future is just slowly choking out Max Packs. As now the tanks are able to start shelling away at this Stargate. Well, actually, no, never mind. Tank's not quite in range of the Stargate. Oh, no, they're in range of the Stargate. Okay. Tank's able to start shelling away at the Stargate, remove the counter to the Vikings that exist. And now the tanks are going to start going to find a position in the base of Max Packs here, or at least try. But every attempt at pushing them off takes tremendous damage here. And with the scan, it feels like that's not enough. Meanwhile, yeah, Max Pax has no army. Sure, he has some army on the left-hand side, but he cannot engage with that. And he is slowly but surely losing his natural. He is losing this Stargate that he so desperately repowered, but that is not enough. And this push is terrifying. Everything's getting depowered, and it looks like Future has found his position. He's up double the army supply. He owns the natural max packs. He says, no, this is mine. This is mine alone. You cannot have it anymore. And as his rally comes in, this is the last day of max packs going in. Charge is now done, but charge is too daggone late. There's just not enough here on the ground. Sure, they're getting on top of these tanks, but that is really not enough. As now we have Bio now stimming on top of these Colossi. And, you know, well, actually, as I say that, yeah, shouldn't be enough. Okay, yeah, the Colossus is going down. We have a dearth of robo units, and it is the rallies that will seal the game here for Future. Up 43 army supply to 18. And Future poised to find himself one game closer to the finals. Now, as I say that the game is not yet over, Max Pax has not given in. He's not given up. He says, you know what, I think maybe I've held long enough. I didn't lose my economy. I still have 50 workers. But of course, he has lost his tech, and he has lost a significant amount of his production as well. He's down an upgrade. He does not have a Colossus. In fact, he lives in the shadow of it now, as now we do have Future taking the position once again with the Vikings landing. Sure, there are shield batteries, but Future doesn't even care. He's not moving in the direction of the shield batteries. And once again, this robo will get targeted, or will get depowered once again. And sure, it might be up for half a second longer, but the robo is going to go down once again. The SCVs have been pulled this time. Future says, enough of this madness. I'm double your supply. There we have it. GG. Future. Moving on to the potentially ultimate map of this series, the Decider. Winner, of course, moves on, plays Vindicta in the finals. Loser plays Vanya in the third, fourth place match. I believe there's a third and fourth place match, but we go back to Europe. And we have a game. I've been invited to the fourth game of this series, which is rather exciting. We'll be on Eternal Empire. Man, I wish Google Translator worked better with Korean. Yes, but in answer to your question, I can't read Korean. I don't know what your name is. Yes, there are games with Korean players here. This particular series in this time slot is just Max Pax Future, Vindicta, and wow, Max Pax Future, Vindicta, and Vanya. This is much more a European and American friendly time slot. On this channel before, I have casted Parting versus Innovation in a best of 9. I am casting. I potentially. Did that get confirmed? I need to check my Discord after this. I am casting potentially a best of 9. Potentially a best of 9 tomorrow morning. I forget who's that's with. But anyway, players are loaded into game number 4. We should probably introduce them or something. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So here we are in the bottom left. In the red, his life on the line in this series, it's Max Pax. And in the upper right, in the blue, on match point, it's Future. So the question here is, what is Future going to do with his new fangled powers? Apparently, I just never swapped scene. That's unfortunate. Well, with his new fangled powers of a series lead, well, Max Pax says, you know what, you're not going to get it for very long, as it is Max Pax build time, baby. Max Pax build time. So we're going to go in, and he can send the probe up. Oh, look, I'm just scouting like normal, but meanwhile, he has his gateway building, well, what do you want to call that? The rich gas fourth. For the Terran player, and he's going to put a gate down, and he's going to then queue up two Zealots. And then he's going to go in and he's going to cancel things. And make the life of our Terran player very sad. But of course, this SCV will eventually get across the map. And he will be able to see that there is no gate in the main base of MaxPax here. And then he will know what kind of dastardly play that MaxPax is going for in this game. What is this? Game number 4. There we go. English is hard, which of course will mean that because he has scouted this, he knows to keep the Reaper at home, which means that these Zealots will not get nearly as much damage done as they would like. But more importantly, okay, actually, never mind. MaxPax sees it. There's the SCV there, which should trigger him, which should tell him that maybe he should send these in. But no, he says, you know what? I'm waiting. I'm waiting anyways. And then we do have the 2 Zealots on their way, and a Stalker's on the way behind this too. Stalker on the way as well. Now the Reaper's going to go out and try to see what he can get done, but now we do have this probe trying to get in onto the main base. It's going to sit on top of this. So, but of course, the Reaper does too much damage. Now the Reaper's going to move across the map. Says, hey, look, you know what? You know what's the downside of this build? Well, the fact that you have no army in your base whatsoever. So he does get the natural. MaxPax is able to cancel the natural. And that is rather nice. But now there's a bunker here, which means it's going to be rather difficult for this Stalker, for these Zealots to get through. But, you know, actually, he's found a good position. And the Stalker's just going to be able to target these SCVs down as they try to repair. But meanwhile, the Reaper finds its way into the main base, and it is going to try to do what it can to kill as many probes as possible. But, of course, with the shield battery, that's going to last a good long while. Now, of course, the recall has been forced on this Stalker. So Reaper says, nope, no, gotta go by. Okay. And this nice little 3-unit force is enough to make it so that it is going to be rather difficult for Future to really ever take his natural in any reasonable amount of time. I mean, sure, eventually, yes, he's going to be able to take his natural. That's not in question. But in the meantime, he has been so delayed in what he wants to do. He's been forced to cancel his natural. He's lost an SCV. He's been forced into a bunker that he doesn't want to build. He's been forced to rebuild his command center on the high ground. He's only mining off of one base. His natural command center is later than it has any right to be. And we do have a Stargate on the way. But more importantly, there's this probe on a weird journey. Okay, this is just scouting. Okay. Never mind. Thought we were going to see something real fancy here from MaxPax in map number 4. Nope, that is not the case. As now we do have Marines. We have a Cyclone. Marines and the Cyclone should be more than enough to deal with this paltry little Protoss army that exists. And MaxPax is just going to try to trade as much as he can. Make sure that he is able to get out properly. And now we do have Phoenixes on the way behind this. That was a Stargate for Phoenixes, not for Oracles. And I believe that was scouted. I've got to imagine the Reaper saw that.
Enemy contact.
Nope, Reaper was not able to get in. So now with the 3 Stalkers here, how many gates do we have? We have 1 total gate. We're moving on to a 2nd gate now. So I wouldn't be surprised to see MaxPax just kind of continue to warp in a couple Stalkers here, try to see what he can get done. But of course, the goal here, more than anything else, is you need to expand your tech, expand your economy behind it. Because that is what allows you to really take advantage of this lead you have built for yourself. So the Phoenix is going to run in. 1 Phoenix, of course, takes 3 shots to kill an SCV. Takes 2 shots to kill any other thing because, well, of how SCVs have 5 more HP than the workers of the other 2 races. Which, of course, is terrible, terrible in balance, and Blizzard should be shamed. Oh, yeah, we all know why that is. But no big deal. Not actually not that imbalanced. But what it does mean is Phoenixes, well, what I mean by that tangent, Phoenixes, they get in the main base, they're able to kill a couple things. But not really get any sort of significant damage. As Future's now buttoned up onto 2 bases. Now, MaxPax beyond this, he has managed to take a 3rd. And we're going into not the charge lot style that we saw previously, which is rather interesting because you would expect MaxPax or Future to be going into some sort of aggression behind this. Just considering the fact that he is so far behind that there is no natural on the way here. And yeah, with the 3 racks, I mean, the Phoenixes should know this. Now, with the drop moving on the right-hand side of the map here, this will be scouted by a probe. Really, wow. MaxPax knows exactly where things are. Yeah, so you will see that in its entirety. We'll be able to warp things on, warp things into position. Actually, there we go. The Stalker's going to get warped in. But with the lack of blink, well, it's going to be difficult at first. The Stalkers maybe not be in the proper position. They can't really get low ground to high ground all that well. But this is a double drop. This is 16 Marines, and that is perhaps even more than MaxPax bargained on. And now the Phoenix, they're going to start lifting things up, and I think this is going, yeah, this is going to get held, but it's going to trade for a lot of Stalkers. So that was a pretty good trade from Future, all things considered. But now that does of course give our Terran player enough opportunity to maybe take care of this proxy pylon that can warp in stuff and be problematic for him later. But MaxPax is going to take this opportunity to shave off a decent portion of Future's army. But now Future says, you know what? I am ready to push. I have my 2 tanks. I have Marines. I have the SCVs. And sure, it kind of sucks that I lost most of my medevacs. Actually, this will be scouted immediately. And I gotta imagine that, well, MaxPax is going to be in position to hold this. He has a Colossus. Sure, Extend Thermal Lance is not done yet. But, well, and there's no +1. There's no Raven. He's going to step out. And I think this should be holdable for MaxPax. Actually, nice. I like this. He's going to go pick up his tanks and move them into a more advantageous position on the front side. But, of course, these will be lifted immediately. And now with the bio here, well, with the tanks out, the tanks firing, the bio is just going to melt. And we're going to game 5 once again. I love it. 2 straight game 5s. Longest possible series. Cool games. Exciting times. So now we're just waiting for the lobby to be made. Ah, the kind man has invited me to the lobby. It's game number 5. It is set point. It's match point. It's series point. Winner, of course, goes on to play Vindicta in the finals. Loser drops down to play Vanya. Players are loaded in. They're ready. They're chomping at the bit to move on to play to get their chance at Vindicta. And I could not be more excited. In the words of Hamilton, I have never been satisfied, but I'm pretty sure at the end of this game 5 I will be. We load on into Death Aura. The sound of death. The ambiance of death pervading it. As we expect to see many Terran, many Protoss units die this day. But in order to do that, we need to be loaded into game number 5. So let's go. And in the upper left, in the blue, representing Team Exxon, is MaxPax. And in the bottom right, in the gold for Team Alpha X, is Future. Now we do have a rather early SCV. That's a really early SCV coming on to scout, actually. But it's just making sure that there's... Oh, Future! Future, you dog! He wanted to make it look like it was just a scouting SCV. And he was going to wait for the probe to leave before he dropped it down. That is some mind game and a half here coming from our gold Terran player. The question, of course, is whether he's going to get a dummy barracks to really hide it, because he knows there's a probe scout coming in. And this should not be all that hidden. I mean, look, there's no barracks. He sees the double gas coming in. Like, he knows what this is. MaxPax knows that he is getting cheesed in this game number 5. The only question is what type. This really reads as Proxy Reaper at first, but it could also be Proxy 111. Both of which are equally valid playstyles. Proxy Reaper just really focuses on making life hard. Okay, there's a Marine coming out of this. So yeah, this is Proxy 111. Okay. So Future is probably going to hit with, what, with tanks and Liberators in Marines, and just try to get as much damage done as he could. There we do. Marine is actually going... Okay, one Marine's going to go out, and that is just to deal with the probe at home. Because this is being rallied home. That's interesting. And there we have the tech lab on the way, which is most likely for this factory. There is a world in which this is some sort of proxy marauder. Oh, you know what? It is... Oh, this is really cool. This is really cool. Okay. So this is going to be concussive shell, proxy marauder. And what comes out of the... What comes out? Okay, so it's going to be Hellions out of that? Hellion proxy marauder? I have not seen this one before. This is actually really cool. So we now have Marauders are being rallied out. They're being rallied... Okay, no. It's like, man, are they being rallied home? That doesn't make any sense. And now with the shield battery here, well... It's going to be rather difficult. It's going to be difficult-ish for Future to get this. But so what I think the way you play this... Right, is the Marauders fight in the front line. Meanwhile, the Hellions dive on into the main base. And once you have 3 Hellions, of course, that's the magic number to kill probes. And you just start massacring probes while the main army cannot deal with the fact that, well, they're... okay, so the Stalker's actually going to go out, see what it can find, but it will find the Concussive Shell Marauder. It is not allowed to escape. And now we do have the Hellions and the Marauders. Now they're going in, and they're just going to target this shield battery down. Sure, the Marine dies, but that's the least of our Terran players' troubles here. Is he going to go, and he's going to target this Adept down. Probe's going to go down, and this already, it looks like it's going to do... This looks like a killer move here. Actually, probes lining up too, so more and more probes going down here as well. And there we have it, GG. MaxPax falling to the Proxy Marauder shenanigans of Future, and Future moving on to the finals. We got a team kill. Alright, so I have just in fact been informed that there is no 3rd and 4th place match for this series. It is just going to be the finals here. Future versus Vindicta. And while I got the moment, while I have the opportunity, I am going to take the opportunity to ping the fact that this is a Matcherino-supported tournament. Sure, Afrika does a great job. Don't get me wrong. Afrika provides wonderful support for us here. But if you want to give these players some more money, if you say, wow, Future's playing amazing today, wow, Vindicta's really cool, wow, I really like the way MaxPax plays, I really like the way Vanya plays, either of those things, well, you can support this tournament for free if you use the code APS204 on the Matcherino page that is pinged at the top of chat. Yeah, sure. I'll point somewhere, right? Sure, it's up, but it's that way. Yeah, stage left. Anyway. If you use that code APS204, you can contribute to it for free. If you decide to contribute some of your own money, you can buy some really awesome Alpha X merchandise. Their jerseys are awesome. Jerseys are very cool. And you can buy the replay packs for events like this. I believe. I don't know if this is turned on for this one. I would not be surprised because I didn't look. I just kind of filled out the card. Yep, you can buy the replay pack for $3. You can buy some jerseys. You can also tip your caster. Feel free to tip me. I don't mind. Yeah. But anyway, while we snaffle up Future, while we snaffle up Vindicta, as we wait to get our finals underway, we're gonna go to a quick break, and when we are back, we're going to have the finals of the Alpha X Super Standard number 204. It's going to be best of 7. Vindicta. It's going to be, wow, best of 7 between Vindicta and Future. It's going to be exciting. Don't go anywhere. All right, we're back. We have a finals, and my green screen has decided it wants to fuzz out. There we go. It's all fixed. Exciting. We have a best of 7 team kill grand finals between Alpha X and Alpha X. It's going to be Vindicta. It's going to be Future. It's going to be a wild ride. As they have also decided that this will be, in fact, they're going to start on Everdream, and then it will be, then it will be loser's pick from there. So we're probably going to get a long series, to be honest. Although, again, this is a team kill. I don't know exactly what we're going to see out of things, but it's going to be a fun time. Future says Agog, which I believe means go. And we are away. Game is starting. We have the first countdown because, of course, there are many countdowns now baked in to the baked into this. There we go. So players loading in. Of course, it will be Everdream. There are some fairly cheeky, aggressive 1-1-1 builds you can go off of this, but we shall talk about that more in a second. Our players are loaded in. I'm loaded in. I'm excited. You're excited. And in the bottom left, in the red, representing Team Alpha X, it's Vindicta. And in the upper right, in the blue, also representing Team Alpha X, it's Future. And we do see an SCV moving out across the map rather quickly, as Future says, you know what, I want to be a little bit more aggressive in this game, number 1. And there we have a barracks going down. Now, we don't have any gas taken, as I say that, gas is going to get taken. Wow, your caster is on top of things. 10 out of 10 would cast again. But anyway, we do have the gas is going to get taken. Double gas here, which means it's more likely to be a 1-1-1. I think, or maybe there's also the opportunity that this is just two or three barracks reaper here, trying to get the advantage. But I believe generally when that happens, you see multiple SCVs sent out, not just the one. And actually, Vindicta again, we're seeing the wonderful benefits of being on the same team. Maybe even they might not even practice with each other that much. Not necessarily. I mean, I'm sure they do, but you talk to players. There's a big Alpha X Discord. The players talk to each other. They share ideas. They do all these things. And you know what? That scout does less for Vindicta than if he did not scout at all. Because now he has some idea, at least until he goes to the high ground here, that he has some idea that this is gonna be normal. And this is Proxy Marauder. Future has just decided that the way I play this game, I'm just gonna play Proxy Marauder. Literally every single game. That's all that matters. It's how I'm going to win this best of 7. It's how I'm going to win PvP. I'm going to win PvZ. I don't know how Proxy Marauder wins PvZ or TvZ. So I'm going to win TvP. It's how I'm going to win TvT. And so I'm going to look to move out on the map with one Marauder. With 2 Marauders as Concussive Shell finishes. And now notice the Marauder here is in the flight pattern. Is in the path of any sort of Reaper that wants to move across the map here. And in doing so, the Reaper will get caught by the Concussive Shell. Actually, Reaper taking a roundabout route, though. And again, mind games. Like these players, if this is something these players have practiced, it absolutely makes sense that the Reaper's going to take the roundabout path to make sure that things happen. Now we do have the Proxy Marauder going on the high ground. They will be able to slow this Hellion down. Hellion is just going to die. Hellion has no choice in the matter. And now we do see the Marauders. They're going to try to see what they can get done to punch through this. But now we do... he could jump on there, but doesn't really want to. And now this tests the micro of our Future of Terran. As the Marauders are going to go back, going to kite backwards, kite forward. Now with 3 Marauders here. 3 Marauders are a terrifying fighting force indeed. And another Reaper will go down. And sure, there's a Hellion and a couple more Reapers, but every time one of these gets tagged is pretty much a death. The death knell of another unit. And now with the... okay, so the barracks on the high ground here actually is going to land and start pumping things out. That's cool. And now we have Hellions moving their way across the map as well. Okay, so the Widowmine is rather unfortunate, but the SCV is going to go up. It's going to... Just barely not going to be able to get that. And this Widow Mine is problematic, to say the slightest. Now, one Marauder that is the lowest health going to go in. It will die. Will sacrifice his life for the common good, and more SCVs will continue to go down here. As this is, where are the rest of the Hellions? Okay, nice. He's going to be able to target another Hellion down, and now it's only one Marauder, but he will be able to target these SCVs down, target these Reapers down, and this has done a significant amount of damage. As we have the barracks floating around in the high ground, two command centers behind this. As Future says, you know what? Get more ahead. I have forced you to commit so much to your defense, and of course I also take such a late natural that I just want to get 2 of them. Why not? Why stop at 1? And Future definitely is within an economic position to do that. He's up 10 workers effectively, or 7 workers. Wow, never do math on stream. Never ever do math on stream. And he's ready to move on with stage 2 of this assault as he lands the barracks and plants a Marine. Says, you know what? I got this, guys. This is what I need to do. This is how I'm going to win the game. So we do have the 4 Hellion medevac going to drop into the main base here, try to kill more and more workers. Meanwhile, there's a Liberator in the main base. And for the time being, it will be uncountered until these 2 Hellions come out. Or until these 2 Vikings come out, but that's fine because, of course, the big damage here are the Hellions in the main base as they are just targeting down SCV after SCV after SCV after SCV. Something like that. But they will all die in exchange. Only 6 workers went down. As now the barracks has been dropped once again. Says, you can't build behind there. Not at all. So my question, though, is what in the world is the Future of Terran doing in this game? Okay, so there we go. Now we have some barracks on the way. I'm like, he has no primary production. He has no barracks on the map, whether for mech or bio. I mean, you need a barracks to be able to produce factories, and you need a barracks to be able to produce, Marines. So it's like trying to figure out what he's going for here. As now we do have 2 Cyclones and a Reaper moving across the map. It looks like they just want to sit in the brush here to make sure that, well, anything moving across the map gets killed, gets scuppered. And this is, man, Future playing some really cool games today. And meanwhile, it looks like Vindicta says, you know what, I don't have a chance playing Bio here. I'm too far behind, but there's a chance I can sandbag this game playing mech. I can make it go long. And then I say, please, Vindicta, don't do that to me. All right. So, slight update on what's happening. The third, fourth place match will be played. It's gonna be best of 3. However, it apparently will not be casted, which is good for me because I gotta cast Exxon Cup at 9 p.m. And more importantly, then I need some time to go find some food, some actual dinner before that, so I can sustain the rest of it before I go and because I'm casting 7. I think I'm casting 7 o'clock tomorrow morning too. But now the landed Viking harass is going to. And now we play the dance of the Vikings. They go up and down, up and down. Okay, just up and down, just not nearly the nice ballet that we saw earlier. But the Cyclones are going to get on top of this command center, and it's going to go down. The orbital, the nice economic advantage here that Future had. Well, it's nice. He's up 16 workers. That's great. It matters a whole lot less when you can only mine efficiently off about 44 workers on 2 bases, or is it 46? Anyway. Yeah, I think it's 46, and he is 51. So yeah, the effective economic lead is no longer what is that? No longer 13 workers. It's more closer to about 7. That was a masterful play there from Vindicta. He distracted both my eye, but he distracted Future as he ran in with these 4 Magfield Accelerator Cyclones and just shot down, annihilated the orbital here of Future. But now the nice land in the brush here, and the Vikings are going to be able to kill a decent amount of these Cyclones before dying. 5 Vikings for 3 Cyclones. It's not perfect, but Cyclones are much better than Vikings anyway, so not a big deal. And this is going to be bio. Okay, now there's a Liberator. Of course, all the Vikings straight out, and then the Liberator shows up. Vindicta playing Future like a fiddle here. I mean, sure. He took tremendous damage early game. He's not in the best spot, but man, this is Vindicta is doing everything he needs to do to come back into this game. Absolutely everything. So the Liberator is just keeping everything busy. Gonna be able to kill. Okay, we have one more SCV, and the Marines are gonna stem on top of it, but not do quite enough damage to take care of it just yet. Actually, gonna try to sniper Marine too. And this is actually just really good from Vindicta here. His third base is done. It's building into an orbital. It's not on location quite yet. But now, okay, the Vikings here, the Marines here. Yeah, the Liberator will go down, but not before seven SCVs go down here too. And now Future finds himself with less SCVs than his Terran opponent. Well, yes, because only Terrans have SCVs. Well, I guess Zerg can have SCVs too with Neural, but let's be real here. All right, so now we do have a third base of the Mech King Terran. It has been taken, and the question here is, well, how in the world is Future going to make use of his potential tempo advantage that he has here? I mean, this army is not all that I mean, okay, it's double the army supply. Just about double the army supply of Vindicta. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that's something. But I mean, this is just a lot of tank Cyclone. I mean, that is hard to push into. Especially now that Vindicta has been able to scan. He knows what is up, who is who, where is where, and why. Well, I don't know if he knows why is why. But he knows who is who, what is what. And actually, so we notice the tanks are now in the medevacs here, as Future finds the perfect position to drop them as he tries to kill things. He's going to be able just attempting to assassinate these tanks. And there we go. He's going to be able to get on top of these tanks. Tanks are just going to get blown up immediately. And the tanks of Vindicta find themselves out of position. Now the bio of Future trying to see what it can get done. It will force the lift on this third base, but I don't think he's going to be able to get in that much farther. Now the Vikings are just going to shoot these medevacs from the sky. And that is the advantage here. So this the bio of Future is really never going to be allowed to sustain. Right? That's just how bio versus mech works. It's very much a suicide game. And now the Vikings are going to land on top of these tanks, and the tanks should just go down. As I say that, nope, GG. Future is going to take game number 2 or game number 1. Okay then. Unexpected or unexpected end. But there you have it. Loser's pick. So Vindicta will have the next map pick. We're going to wait to see what that map pick is. And it will be Pillars of Gold. All right. Pillars of Gold, it's ready to go. And we got a countdown. It's exciting. All right, here we go. It's not a best of 1. It is a best of 7. Our players are in there. And in the upper right, in the red, down 1 game in this best of 7, it's Vindicta. And in the bottom left, taking game number 1 off of some fancy Proxy Marauder shenanigans. It is, well, he's the Future himself. It's Future. What an incredible player intro. He is the future. He's future. Wow. Inventive. Innovative. Riveting casting there, coming from you live from New Hampshire, where the nights are dark and cold. Actually, it's not that bad right now. It's a high of 75, so pretty nice day actually today. Had a good time. And this game, we're going to see something maybe a little bit more standard as we move on into things. Certainly nothing as crazy as zany as, say, Proxy Marauders. We don't have early SCVs moving out that are trying to proxy things. So there we go. Now, of course, we do see one major difference here in that we have double gas coming here from Vindicta as he looks to get some early tech, get some early harassment done, whatever the case may be there. And much later second gas, well, of course, Future's eventually going to get one, but much later. As Vindicta moves his SCV out. Man, Vindicta... Yeah, this is most 99 times out of 100. This is just a scouting SCV. So, yeah, but he will go, and he will, in fact, see that there is a command center. And that is probably the best piece of information that he could, well, biggest piece of information that he could be looking for. But more importantly, that is nice for him because if he's looking to be as aggressive as I think he is, so the factory all on the way down already, it's going to go into 1-1-1 behind this. He will eventually take a natural, I think. I don't know, this could be some sort of one base 1-1-1, but I don't think you see that on Pillars of Gold. I think the map is too big, too long, and the natural's too wide open for that. And theoretically, oh yeah, the natural's wide open. That's a great pushable, but with a lot of these 1-1 builds, you're trying to trap your opponent on a ramp. And there we do have the SCV going down for the natural now. But yeah, you're trying to trap your opponent on a ramp or something with tanks and with liberators and make it so they can't move and slowly choke them out. And if there's just more and more room for them to move in the natural, well, it takes longer for you to do that, which means that's the more time that they spend at building up an army. And now, of course, we will see the 3 Reaper, 2 Hellion hit squad now, about ready to move in a second. And we've been seeing this more and more and more in TPT in the last 6 months. So now we do have the Reaper. They're going to try to get in. They're going to find themselves getting hit on or hit upon or something like that. I don't know. Future's army just finds the Reapers attractive or something. I don't know, but we do have the third Reaper and the second Hellion now moving their way across the map, and that's kind of when this gets maybe just a little bit more aggressive. All right, so now we do have them running in two Reapers will die just about immediately, and this is not going to get the kind of type of damage done that Future wants it to really get done. Or that Vindicta wants to get done, as he will take 0 damage. Future will take, yeah. Future lost 1 SCV. I don't know if he lost it there or lost it when he was scouting, but yeah, that was absolutely a bust here, coming from our gold Terran. He wants to get something done, wow, absolutely bust for a red Terran as he tries to do some sort of damage to Future, but. Yes, it's really not worth it. The bunker was there. The aggression came too late because the rest distance on Pillars of Gold is so long. And now we do have a couple. We have one Reaper, 1 Hellion moving the way across the map. Again, this shouldn't get anything done, but Future's not really trying to. Really more than anything else, he's just trying to see if he can get in, get some scouting information. He's going to draw the Cyclone out into the natural so he can go get his Reaper on into the main base. And he's not realistically going to be able. You know what? Okay, yeah. SCV repair is more powerful than a Reaper. But the important thing, he saw the Raven. He saw the tank. He knows that it is most likely to be bio. Although we do have a 3rd gas here. Actually, no, I think three gas is bio. It's not a 4th gas, though. And most importantly, though, he knows this is 1-1-1, and he sees no 3rd command center. So he knows that, oh, well, Vindicta wants to be aggressive. Well, he wants to continue being aggressive because he tried to be aggressive earlier, didn't really work. So now we do see that third command center coming down for both players. It's kind of that nice ping pong where one player feels safe enough to do something, so the other player feels safe because the first player is safe enough to do it, and you move on. But now we have a fairly decent army from Future moving across the map here. Two Ravens, three tanks, a Cyclone, and a bunch of Marines. And is Stim done? No. Okay, so he has not yet started Stim. And this dichotomy of Stim, of when you take your Stim in TVT, it's always been rather interesting to me. Because you see these TVT players, they go, it just takes them forever. They don't get Stim. It almost feels like they don't get Stim before 10 minutes. But I mean, they still win games. Because they value that Marine production just that little bit more. And then on the flip side, you have players like Vindicta who actually get a decently timed Stim. Okay, so that Cyclone will lock on and will just immediately die. Raven's just dropping missile auto turrets on top of auto turrets on top of auto turrets there. And the auto turrets of Future will last longer, but what did he lose both Ravens? He lost one Raven, so Raven for a Raven. As the other Raven, low on health, will find itself returning home. And really, this didn't do a whole lot. It just kind of put the fear of Future in Vindicta here. But really, the story of this game is the fact that Future has just had a macro lead this entire game, as that Hellion, that Reaper run by did just about nothing. But now the tanks are going to siege up, and yeah, this is not, well, this is not going to happen. But okay, now the Liberator is going to find itself in a position so these three tanks are going to be forced back. And Vindicta will be able to eventually leapfrog onto the position he's looking for. It's going to take a while, though. Okay, the Liberator's sieging up, and, well, not even in range of the tanks, and the tanks are still on sieging. So that's interesting. But meanwhile, we do have the Bio. They're going to try to do what they can to, oh, nice armor shredder missile here. And now coming in with the massive Vikings that have been stored up here. And this actually is going to just annihilate the Viking count of Vindicta rather significantly. And now Future finds himself, well, okay, you know, he doesn't have Stim, so he can't really take the tank fight. Oh, okay, so we're going to rally some tanks into their death, and suddenly, well, Future, he had a nice advantage. He really did. And then he runs a bunch of tanks into tanks. And, yeah, tanks are really most useful when they're siege, so that's rather unfortunate there for Future. So it looks like Future has a missed rally going on as more and more Vikings fall to their doom. And, yeah, okay, so sure, Future's got his fourth base on the way. This is the oddest hit squad I've ever seen. 5 Marines and 3 tanks. And it will work. It will force him back. But meanwhile, we do have a hit squad of just tank Viking on the other side of the map. What are these army compositions? This flies in the face of everything I know about StarCraft, of TVT, but that's fine. It's okay. It's team kill. Things are weird. But now with the tanks will siege up, the Vikings will move on top. Of course, they have air control. And there's just no Marines. Marines do not find themselves necessary. As the paltry Marine tank force of Future that was able to lift the third of Vindicta will now find itself coming home as well. And both players, they're sitting within, like, what, 5 supply of each other? Sure, Vindicta has the slightly better army, but some of it's at home, so not that big deal. And now we have the surround coming in. But of course, there's high ground vision, and the Marines they fall apart here. All the SCVs are dying as well, and every sort of lead that Future had is just slowly being evaporated here as Vindicta's just found a chokehold. What are these games? Now, we'll say that Future has been able to just maintain mining from his fourth base, well, from his fourth base as if it were his third, or maintained mining from his third base. Anyway, you get the point here. Vindicta 1-1 versus the +1 armor of Future. Is Future waiting for +1 tech, so it's 1-1 in total. And interestingly enough, Vindicta has forgotten about. Nice. So okay, so the reinforcements here from Vindicta will be able to pick off those tanks. And now we do have a drop here of Marines coming on the left-hand side there. Whether that's a offensive drop or whether it's just an attempted flank, I don't know. But, so now we do have Medevac just stimming on top, and with the lack of air superiority, well, the Marines are just going to be dropped on top of these tanks, and not kill any, though. So there's that. Meanwhile, the triple drop here from Future trying to, well, trying to save himself from the fate that he finds himself surely in. And now we do have tanks looking to siege up the main base as well. Meanwhile, this is a triple marine drop, or 24 marine drop now coming in on the base, and they should be able to target this command center down, I think. No, I don't think not with the tank there. But meanwhile, we do have a drop coming in here on the main base of Vindicta. Just trying to get something done. Where's this tank? Okay, so there's the tank range. That's the position you want to stay out of here. And this game is Wild and Wacky Racers. As now we do have Future on 42 workers, Vindicta on 16 though. The question is whether, of course, whether he can hold his own base. As despite the economic lead, okay, so now he's gonna rally these tanks forward, and that's not the move. That's absolutely not the move. But now, okay, so the medevac's gonna pick up. Medevac could very easily just drop on this tank and kill it right now. There's just no anti-air. And now we have more, and we have more of a drop. Well, no, I guess this was the drop that killed so much the Terran's base. But now, okay, we do have Bio sieging up once, or a tank sieging up once again. But there's high ground vision here for Vindicta, and I don't know if that's exactly worth it. As the tanks, well, the tanks go down. But now we have the Bio dropping on top of these tanks here, and it looks like Future has found his opening. He's found a way back into this game that he was so choked out of. He has broken the chokehold on his neck, and in doing so, well, he's got a fantastic timing here because 2-2 is just about done. And he has, well, I guess he doesn't have the bigger army, he just has a bigger economy. Still he does. And now there are just enough Marines in the middle line of Future's, I don't know, do we call that a third base? To target the things down. And now the army of Vindicta is going to catch catch Future out of position, just with his Marines, nothing else. And it is now 2-2 versus 2-2. Alright, so now we do see Vindicta. He's found a good spot, but I don't know if this concave... Well, yeah, it does appear that this concave is enough here, and especially with the tanks firing. Tanks firing the low ground, tanks firing from the high ground, and GG! Vindicta tying it up. That was a game. And I mean that in the best way possible. That was a hell of a game for both players. Vindicta fighting the chokehold, Future fighting back. Do you think just maybe he's made it, but Vindicta says no, not now, not ever on Pillars of Gold. Hey. And now it's going to be Future's map pick. They tried to play me, and I don't know how I feel about that. All right. It's game number 3. Let's go. And here in the upper left, in the gold, it's Future. And in the bottom right, in the red, taking last game in style with aplomb, it's Vindicta. Have you ever noticed that from this angle, the clan banner appears to jump and float in the air as it rotates, but not from this one? Huh. quirks of the engine, I guess, to do with the how it's done isometrically. But once again, we see Vindicta opening up with a tech-heavy opening here, double gas here for him, not so for Future. So again, we're gonna see 1-1 from Vindicta, most likely. We're gonna see 1-1 coming out from him as he looks to be aggressive. Probably, maybe it's gonna be 3 Reaper, 2 Hellion. Maybe it's gonna be something else. Who knows? We don't know enough yet. Now, Future looks like once again he's gonna take that early natural. He's just gonna button it up and try to see what he can do with forging an economic lead. But of course, this is TVT. And we win games on far more than just having an economic advantage. If that was the case, well, it would be every other matchup. And TVT, of course, uses those resources that are so implicit to StarCraft, but maybe not explicitly so. As StarCraft at its core is a game of research management, it uses positioning and attention and information in so much more of a concrete way than other matchups do. I mean, yes. ZVT, well, yeah, the step on creep, that's information. But here, this one, it is, you find yourself out of position for a second, you die, you have access to so much free vision with scans. Well, not free, you gotta pay whatever a mule's worth to do it. But regardless of that, are we gonna see... No, Vindicta's not. Oh, no way. So we do see... Oh, well, okay, so yeah, now that this is the age-old Reaper Hellion thing where you send in the Reaper, or Reaper SCV, where you send the Reaper with the SCV. So the SCV tanks the first shot from the Reaper, and there we have it on both sides. I think both players have... Okay, actually, you know what? Okay, wow. Vindicta wins the Reaper fight. Takes not a single... Which is incredible, because he didn't take a single point of damage on his SCV either. Future says that was some lit micro, and I agree. Man, that was... So, which means now he's going to be able to cancel the command center. Well, just maybe. Does he have enough time? The command center just barely going to survive. But now we have a bunker on the way and a second Reaper as well. And Vindicta looks to push his advantage ever so slightly. Now with the Hellion out here too, there is zero chance. Well, it's going to be rather, I shouldn't say zero chance, but it is going to be rather difficult for Future to be able to bust down this ramp. A great Reaper micro here. As the Reaper tries to survive, it will die, but it sacrifices. The Hellion will trade its life for it. And now there's just no mining here. There is just no mining from the natural here of Future. And the fact that he has spent so much money on getting this natural, well, it finds itself not mattering in the slightest. So now we have 2 Reapers and 2 Hellions. And yeah, this is Submarine for you. This is how this map goes. Yeah. I'm so glad this map is staying in the pool and not, say, Ice and Chrome. Anyway, yeah, I'm not really complaining. I'm sad Ice and Chrome is gone, but Submarine gives us some real funky games, and I cannot say I'm sad for it. As the spray goes to easy peasy, Vindicta says, easy peasy. But of course, these players are friends. They're bantering throughout the game. Easy peasy, indeed. So now a tank's going to come out, and that is going to really mark the end of this. Tanks from the high ground, they will kill the bunker rather easily. But, yeah, look, the natural is done. It's mining here. Players are equal on worker counts. There we have the tank shelling away. But there we go. The bunker now it's going to be salvaged. And no great loss to Vindicta. What I'm interested in learning, though, is why in the... So, Future... okay, never mind. I was going to say, Future's supply is actually fairly high... Decently higher than his opponents, despite, of course, Vindicta doing so much work and having equal workers. I actually had a worker supply now. But I guess that's just how much you put out. Well, you get when you get 3 Reapers out, that does hurt things. But now we have a couple of SCVs on the way. That will, of course... Oh, okay, so they will catch... The Marines will catch the Hellions. And now this is a rather scary... One base quote push, but now we have the Reapers in the main base. Reapers doing a good job of killing off all these workers, and of course this is not infinite damage. You do have to micro them, but now we do have the drop tanks, the tanks that can be dropped or whatever you want to call it. In the medevac, they're now okay. They're gonna boost on top of the high ground. Okay, no, they're not. But however, they will be able to get on top of this tank rather quickly. And Future has found himself a nice position here. Is going to force the command center of his opponent to lift now too. Now there are 2 Ravens, which means there's a time limit on this. See, but these Ravens don't have any energy for anything other than auto turrets quite yet. And despite losing 8 workers, Vindicta's still up on SCV, worker supply. So now we have a tank popping out. And okay, so the Ravens are going to go down. They're going to disable 1 tank, but not the other 2. And now with the SCVs being pulled, maybe that's going to be enough. Maybe it's going to be enough, but at the same time, you know, when we talk about maybe enough here, at what cost, right? The tanks are going down. The SCVs are going down in number, and there's no tech. And we see more and more tanks rallied across the map. This natural from Vindicta will never land, and Future finds himself up 20 army supply. These games are weird, and I am here for it. So now, okay, so the Vindicta will get supply blocked at some point. So the tanks are okay. So poor positioning here. Okay, so the Vikings are going to land on top of these tanks, which means the Marines can get on top of these tanks. Which means now it is, well, it's Vikings and it is Marines against an SCV pull, and that's about it. I wouldn't even mind seeing these Vikings land go up once again so they can knock down that medevac. But you know that's fine. We do have a third base on the way here from Vindicta, but that's never going to work here. GG, Future taking game number 3. So those were some games. And we're going to have game number 4. We'll be on Eternal Empire. Of course, Future milking that 2-1 lead for all it's worth. All right, players loaded in to this 4th map. Future, of course, with that 2-1 lead. And let's get into it. In the bottom left, in the red. Down 1 game in this series, looking equalize. It's Vindicta. And in the upper right, in the gold. 2 games to 1. With much aplomb, he's playing some weird games thus far. It's Future. And now, once again, we have SCVs on the other side of the map. We have a couple barracks going down. And this is exciting. So we see gas is being built here from Vindicta. So this is most likely Proxy Reaper. I don't believe this. First of all, I don't really think Proxy Marines, like off of Proxy 2X, is really much of a thing in PvP. Or wow, this is not PvP. Well, yes, Proxy Marines would not be a thing in PvP, but proxying 2X to bunker rushing and getting Marines is not something you see all that often in this matchup. Now, however, you do see Proxy Reaper relatively often here. So especially with the double gas, it's probably what we're going to see here. And more importantly than that, more importantly the fact that we're getting double gas, that we're going to see 2 Reapers out of this, is the fact that Future is not scouting. Looks like this SCV is just going onto the low ground to build a command center. This command center, of course, will never complete. Actually, no, he's not. Okay, so he is going to go scout. And it is, well, this is just about the perfect scout pattern. These players, it's like they know each other or something. So now he knows what's up. He knows what's what. And yeah, this should be holdable now. I think you get a bunker. Actually, you know what? I don't know if you get a bunker on this map, because in some maps there are enough positions that you can get a bunker, And you can kind of deny the jump, or at least know where things are going to be. I don't know if that's worth it on this map, because there's just so much cliff area here. And this SCV is going to go out on its own. Is he going to proxy something here? I don't know. We'll keep an eye on that for the time being. But meanwhile, we do have Hellions on the way. We have Reapers out 1 by 1 compared to the 2 by 2 of Future. But of course, Hellions are really good against Reapers. Hellions are real good against Reapers. And there we have it. The proxy starport is on the way. I know whether this is for Banshees or Liberators, or I don't know. But I am excited. Now we do have the Reapers of our Red Terran looking to move in, see what they can get done. But with the 2 Reapers and the Hellion, well, that's not likely. Alright, so now 4 Hellions, or 4 Reapers, and this is what we need to be paying attention to here. So 4 Reapers versus 2 Reapers and a Hellion. Another Reaper, 3, we're about to get 3rd on the way now. And the question is, who gets the first shot? Now, okay, so only Reaper shots at this point. But yeah, okay, so now Future's going to dive on top of this. He's going to say, you know what, I have a Hellion, I have 2 Hellions. I win this fight, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. And now, well, that we have 1 barracks in the main base as Vindicta really realizes it's not going to get a whole lot here. And now, oh, you know what? Okay, GG. Future just going to win. Okay. 3-1. That's a thing. Sitting here trying to translate Korean in chat. Who? Did I win? Who won? All right, so we got a lobby. We're loading in. This is potentially match point now for Future. It's on Ice and Chrome. It's gonna be what, map number 5. Map 4 was real quick, real short. That's fine. Sometimes you have those. And here we are. We're loaded in. In the bottom left. That should be, there we go. In the bottom left, in the red. Representing Team Alpha X, it's Vindicta. And in the upper right, in the gold, 1 game away from ultimate glory, is Future. Alright, so now we do have an SCV working its way onto the other side of the map, and we are going to see some proxy shenanigans once again. Now, this is a proxy barracks that is rather far away from the natural. So I don't think... Well, you know, it's only 1 barracks. And again, proxy marines by themselves are not a thing. Especially not at a 1 barracks. So this may once again be the proxy marauder thing that we saw earlier. Perhaps even with Hellions, like a proxy 1-1. I don't really know. Again, Future's got some weird builds. They're exciting, but they're certainly not builds I've ever seen before or see that often. So this was really exciting to be able to watch this series. So we do have this barracks done, and it will be scouted. So that's just okay. So this is just going to be fast Reapers, I think. I think that's the plan here. Just to get a Reaper out faster so he can be scout, do whatever. Because of course this is not going to work after that. There's no follow up here. And there we do have the factory going down at home. So Reaper is Reaper's just about out, and I expect this Reaper just to complete, and then we're just going to see the barracks lift off and go home. And this is something we've seen occasionally in like TVP. Nope, 2nd Reaper on the way, okay. Interesting. Layers upon layers upon layers. Far be it for me to attempt to predict the man who sees the future. So we do have Reapers on the way. And we can expect Future to be a little bit aggressive here. Now the question, of course, is who gets the first shot. So this Reaper's going to show up. And now the Reapers are just running away. Okay. That makes sense. So we have 2 Reapers now on the map. We are not going to see any sort of Hellions. We're just going straight into tanks from Future here. And we're primed, all primed for a long game. So 2 Reapers now, they're going to move back across. 2 Reapers and a Hellion here for Vindicta. So these Reapers really should not be able to accomplish a whole lot. Although they are sneaking in from a position where the Reapers and the Hellions are not. So we'll be able to delay this starport. And that's rather nice. Again, we'll be able to target down maybe one more SCV. Nice micro here from Future. Actually going to get another one. 4 SCVs going down. That's a trade. That's a pretty solid trade here from Future as he attempts to establish his advantage here in this game. Okay, so and I apologize. Not exactly into tanks, but it is into Cyclones. Tech Lab factory units. Alright, so now the Reapers of our Red Terran, they're going to get in the main base, see what they can get done, see if they can equalize the damage that they have in fact taken. Thus far, they find themselves decently successful. 2 workers going down, but of course the Cyclones should do maybe a little bit better job. There we go. 3 workers, I believe it was 4 for Vindicta, so for Future, so just about the same. But of course that damage was done earlier, so Future's still with that economic lead. And we're going in, and Future's going into mech behind this. Look, he never really took the barracks home. And we've seen this once before. This kind of this style. Vindicta tried it in game number 1. It didn't work, but he did it from a tremendous deficit. In this game, well, there's neither tremendous advantage nor tremendous deficit. As the Cyclones run in, try to see if they can get done, but of course, tanks. Tanks are powerful units. They counter pretty much everything when they're sieged. Unless you get right on top of them, and it is a Cyclone's goal to not get on top of them. Or I should say a Cyclone's goal in anything is, of course, to not be right up next to them. It's to play at that very edge of lock-on range. So now we do have Magfield done. And these, looks like these Cyclones, they're trying to show up and lock on to an add-on. There we go. So they're going to lock on top of that add-on. We'll be able to kill it off, especially with Magfield done. All right. So the barracks is going to show up. Okay, and that's going to tell Future that, well, you know what? Or tell Vindicta that, well, you know what? He's going mech. I know how to deal with mech. I have dealt with mech once before. Or I've played mech once before, I should say. Now, so now the barracks looks like it will go down. Nope, nope, not quite. And we have another barracks on the way at home. I guess this is just to make sure that there's a barracks available should the scouting barracks go down. Because this really does feel like mech for Future. We do see... Well, that 4th gas is a lot later. So, I remain mildly flummoxed. So out of the barracks, once again, you're going to see what is what. You can see that stim is being worked on. And this time the barracks does probably finally die. Alright, so now we do have the Cyclones. They're just going to sit here for a moment. And not a whole lot that they can do right now. And now we do have a Raven going in. But the Cyclones should be able to shoot it down ahead of time before it gets any auto turrets off. Or maybe after it gets auto. Okay, there we go. Auto turrets going down. But auto turrets for a Raven. Although 3 workers go. Okay, no, never mind. There's another Raven in the natural. That's getting a whole lot more work done. Meanwhile, of course, this barracks will find itself eventually dead. But the scouting is useful. As we see Vindicta going up to 5 racks. He does have the 3rd command center, but it is not down. In fact, when the minute goes down, it will probably be locked on by these Cyclones. And it looks like Vindicta's getting ready to shut things off. See if he can maybe dislodge these Cyclones from his base. And meanwhile, he's doing significant damage to the economy of Future. And despite that, Future still finds himself up on economy. Again, despite that. But now the Cyclones will go. They will lock on. None of them will die. They will kill whatever they've locked onto, because that is the thing that Cyclones do. But in doing so, they have managed to shove Future off of Vindicta's third base. And that allows Vindicta to take it by himself. Or take it for himself, I should say. But if we look at the economy here, well, it's been in Future's advantage for just a bit. As well, he's had 3 bases, and 3 bases mean fresh mules. It means mining more efficiently. All of these fun things. So now Vindicta understands that maybe he's got some work ahead of him if he wants to come back in here, because we have a meching Terran even on our army supply with his bio opponent, and that's not exactly a situation you want to be in necessarily. Plus 1/1 is just about done. Concussive shells and combat shields as well. Actually, look at this nice lineup here on the right-hand side. Vindicta surely wants to make use of this, but again, Future, he's up on he's up on supply. He's up 12 workers. He's even-ish on army supply. He's got a quote-unquote better army because, again, it's mech. Mech, of course, takes forever to build, but once you're there, it's terrifying. And the SCVs have warned Future of the incoming assault. And this is, of course, especially problematic because there are no Ravens on the field anymore. They have been sacrificed. On the altar of SCV's kills, which, don't get me wrong, SCV kills are nice. But there's only so much worth they are when you need those Ravens to be able to potentially break Future. So he gets ready to take a 4th base sooner rather than later. Well, first he builds his infrastructure, then he takes the base. So now the Cyclones will be found by this Bioforce here, but of course Cyclones do tremendous damage, and they are fast even with concussive. I don't know if they're fast enough to really deal with this though, as now we do have Vindicta herding them into tank fire. Yep, they're dead. Alright, so now we do have a cluster of army on the left-hand side, cluster of army on the right-hand side, and these tanks are actually in a rather interesting position as they siege up, trying to catch any sort of army from Future in the middle of the map. But of course, Future contend. Actually, as I say that, that's actually the perfect position here for Future. And now we have a full 360-degree surround, and Vindicta just attacking in from every side, and these tanks will die. Oh, I'm so glad that all chat went away. Because I don't know how, well, I don't know how, what COS is for Afrika, but, you know, we saw some profanity there, as Future just got surrounded from every side. He's like, oh, I'm dead. Okay. Well, that means we got another game. Game number 6 on the docket. All right, so the next question is what map are we going to see here from Future? I believe he has won every single one of his map picks. All right, our sixth match of this series will, in fact, be on Golden Wall. So Estrella joined the lobby for about half a second before he was forced out. No, Estrella, this is a casted tournament. No special privileges for you. And now we're loading into this potentially, again, final map of the day. We could go to map 7. Every series thus far has gone to the ultimate map in the best of 5 and the best of in the best of 5s. I would not be surprised to see the same here. But here we are, we're on golden while we're loaded in. And the bottom left, in the gold, on match point, on series point, on tournament point, it's Future. And in the bottom right, in the red, it's Vindicta. That was a lot of smoke pouring out of that refinery. So we do have relatively mirrored builds here. Vindicta, of course, going gas first. Future going barracks first, then gas. So again, we do see Vindicta with a penchant for that tech-heavy opening. Once again. Now I don't know exactly what he's going to go for this time, but yeah, we do see the second gas on the way as well. So yeah, again, Vindicta, he wants to get something done in the early game. He wants to be able to enforce his will on the map on his opponent, at least in this match. But I don't blame him for it. There's definitely something to be said for being aggressive in a matchup, as when you're aggressive, you force your opponent to make mistakes. Now, and really, because at the highest level, right? If you have, I don't know, Serral, and Serral is playing against an AI, Serral will play a perfect game of StarCraft. Serral will crush that artificial intelligence. I'm not talking about like Alpha Star. I'm talking about just your standard AI, someone that proves no challenge to Serral. Serral will wipe the floor of him, but if you look at his macro, you look at his micro, everything, it will be pretty much perfect. If you look at how fast he can max in an empty lobby, same thing. Now, you put it in a real game where your opponent is trying to put as much pressure on you as possible. That's when mistakes happen. That's when, that's where games are won and lost. It's with the agency that player that a player is able to exert on the map against his opponent. As we see the Reaper hide here in the tall grass, trying to catch any sort of Reaper moving out from Future. Trying to catch any Reaper moving out from Future so he can win the Reaper fight. Does this make more sense? Yeah, this makes more sense. Okay. So we do have 2 Reapers now coming here, and a third one for Vindicta. Hellion's on the way as well. So again, this is the 3 Hellion or 3 Reaper 2 Hellion thing that we've been seeing again more and more. It has not been all that successful for Vindicta as of yet, but there's a first time for everything. And now with Marines, with the Hellions, I mean, Future should be pretty Doshgarn safe. Gosh darn. Doshgarn safe here. And yeah, Vindicta's just going to back up. I assume these Reapers are there for a rescout later on. Are they going to try to boost themselves over the mineral line? Is that something you can do? Does the geometry work like that? I don't know, but Future going for a rather early armory. So you go for it. You don't go Hellbats against Terran, do you? I think that's what he's going for. I mean, I would think that Hellbats are just kited too hard. Alright, so now we do have a half drop of Marines. So 4 Marines moving across the map here. As Future looks to start the aggression. And now with the Hellions getting ready to move across, that's a decent amount of Hellions. Armory's done. I think, and I don't believe either of this was scouted by these Reapers. We got a Hellbat attack coming in and behind this, okay, Cloak Banshee behind this as well. There's a Hellbat attack coming in a TVT. I don't think I've ever seen this. This is cool. Question is, how much damage is it going to be able to get done? So first of all, we will see everything evacuated from the natural. Now Highbats will get picked up and they will be dropped right on top of this. And the Cyclone is going to try to target things down. But there is healing. And now the question is, how much will Future be able to do? I don't think he kills. Here, I really don't. I don't see it. I think there's just too much kite. But now we have the SCVs are going to get pulled at 5 SCVs are just going to go down like that. Hellbats are do crazy damage against light units that the SCVs are. So already 6 workers going down. That's nice enough as it is, but we do have a cloaked Banshee behind. Well, I believe yes, cloaked Banshee behind this. Banshee actually for both players. And now we're all set for Hellbat drops. To dwarf the Hellbats. Alright, so now boosting into the natural, see what it can get done. Of course the tank fire here means they're really not going to get a whole lot. But there's the opportunity in the main base, although I cannot help but feel this is a... Oh, he's not going in the main base. Here I'm going, predicting his route, and it's just not there. So the Banshees will find each other, like ships crossing the night. Of course, Future has Cloak, the other Banshee does not. And how much anti-air is here? Okay, there are 4 Marines on the natural. And that's about it. No missile turrets, no nothing. So this is going to do some significant damage, but the question is, how much damage does this one get done? Now, nothing, because there's a Raven here. So the Banshee will get 4 kills. Actually, the Banshee... Okay, the Hellbat drops. Actually, are going to be able to kill off a tank. Words you didn't think you would hear today. And the Banshee's now find itself in the main base. And sure, there's a Raven here. But, you know, to make use of a Raven, you got to be able to shoot up. And, sure, I guess he's going to have to drop an auto turret. But 8 works going down to the 5 of Vindicta. And Future's really just in a commanding position in this game. 45 works to the 29 of his opponent. Even army supply. Decent production, although he does need to start rebuilding this factory. Future, you need to start building it again. Future, please. Future, why are you doing this to me? Future. There we go. Okay, so now he's going to go. He's going to start building it. And there we go. So he's going up to a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 racks off of 2 base. Yeah. So 6 bears off of 2 base. He is going to lean hard into the aggression off of the damage that he's done. I do not expect to see a 3rd base for really any time soon. Now there's Banshees, 2 Banshees here now on the bottom left and bottom right hand side. And there is an opportunity for them to get in before this missile turret is done. I don't think they are aware of it, though. And now we do have a drop here, trying to get it on into the main base, but they're going to hang around a second. And now the missile turret is up, which means that these Banshees are just taking lots of damage. And this is a nice single tank drop here coming from the main base. But of course, the longer this lasts, the more chance Future has to maybe get something done. As well, he's got 6 racks production. He is up 20 total supply, although the army supply is roughly even. And at this point, the question is, how does Vindicta break Future here? I don't think he does. I think that's rather difficult. Actually, nice Raven play here with the auto turrets. They're going to get both the Banshee and the tank. And suddenly this push is a whole lot less scary, as now it is plus 30 army supply, or plus 30 supply, plus 15 army supply here. And Future really just in a commanding position. 1-1 on the way, Stim just about on the way. Sure, there's a 3rd command center, but I don't really know how much that matters, as long as it doesn't die. Right, and actually he's going to be able to cut off reinforcements. No tanks, though, unfortunately for him. And now we just have the army of Future moving across the map, because it's going to be rather difficult for Vindicta to break him. But that being said, we have the army of Vindicta looking to go into the main here. And with the tank suits up, that's actually rather difficult for him to get into, but will not be successful. Meanwhile, we do have Future. He's moving across the map. He does not have Stim quite yet, so it's going to be difficult for him to get on top of this tank, but to get on top of it, he shall, only eating 2 shots for his troubles. Meanwhile, the triple drop here of Vindicta, sitting between the main and the natural, and once again, okay, we're not even going to see the 3rd taken once again. Or we're not even going to see the 3rd taken again. Just going to go sit into the natural. We're going to see a drop once again, but this time, Liberators now into the natural here. They're going to try to take out tanks. They will not be successful in doing so. And there we have it, GG. Future taking the 4-2. And with that, we are done with this nice little tournament for the evening. Congratulations to Future. Congratulations to Vindicta as well for making it as far as he did. I don't know what the price breakdowns are. I'm sure that's on the Match Arena page. Oh, that's an interesting fact indeed. Yeah, I don't know what the prize pool is. Regardless, that's it for me. I will be back in approximately an hour and a half on my channel, twitch.tv/Beowulf, because I will be casting the Exxon Open Cup. Exxon Open Weekly. I don't know who's in there at the moment. I haven't checked signups yet because I've been casting this thing. That'll be going from about 9 p.m. Eastern Time until it's done. That tends to be around midnight, 1 a.m. Eastern Time. And after that, I may be casting tomorrow morning. I need to check with Sushi. I'm not sure. But other than that, I got a nice big schedule in front of me. Nothing on Thursday. I'm casting the King of Battles qualifier, the Korean qualifiers at 6 a.m. Eastern Time on Sunday, or on Friday, Friday, what even month is it? September 25th. Casting the King of Battles North American qualifier from 3 to 7 p.m. on the 26th, and then again the Sugars 2v2 tournament at 8 p.m. And then on Sunday, I'm waking up at 6 a.m. for the second Korean qualifier, doing the European qualifier at noon, and then doing a Sugars 2v2 tournament at 8 p.m. because my voice just needs to die, is what I'm hearing there. Regardless, if you want to see any of those things, I will be live. Most of those, okay, so all the Exxon stuff will be on my Twitch channel. I believe the King of Battles will be as well, and the 2v2 tournament will be on my Trovo account. With that, thank you very much for everyone who decided to show up. Have a great everyone have a great morning, afternoon, evening, night, whatever the case may be. And I will catch you on the flip side. Stay safe, everyone.